10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
Don't know what it's like in your neck of the woods, but around Studio One, the sun is out. And in November, it's freaking springtime again. And you know something? I ain't bitching. Want to say greetings, good morning, how you doing? 7 minutes after the top of the 10 o'clock hour on the Central Time Zone. 7 after 8 on the West Coast. Welcome in to the Beyond Ringside Saturday Showcase. The Shooters Gallery is open. Multiple location station, Fast Eddie Layne behind the control panel in Studio One. Live from the Peach State, the man himself, Shane Noles. What's up?
How's it going, guys? Eddie, I'm actually near your neck of the woods. As promised, I am visiting friends here in Helena, Alabama.
Cool.
So not far from Studio One.
And you have got, when lunchtime rolls around, you've got to make it by the Depot Deli and Grill and try their mushroom Swiss. That's all I'm going to say, dude.
Oh, it's on my itinerary for the day. Yes, sir.
It should be, and it's going to be a good one. I'd like to welcome in, got him back for a minute, the wild card, Robert Cosper. What's up, Cos?
Hey, I'm not off on assignment this week. I'm actually in studio. What's up?
Now, before we get into everything, I want to go ahead and lay something out there. First off, well, actually, before I do that, okay, let's layer everything. Run by the run sheet, Eddie. What run sheet? Number one, thank you to everybody listening in through the simulcast, courtesy BeyondRingside.com, the Beyond Ringside radio app, Shoutcast Win app, Ustream, TuneIn Radio. More ways than, I can think of right now. So if anybody thought I was going to say more ways than I have active hair follicles, I'm going to hold on that line for another day or two. Set and ready. On the replay side, also, thank you to everybody who's been downloading through Podomatic, through Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio. God, how many different ways do we have to catch the replay? And, of course, the media page at BeyondRingside.com. Got a little kick in the head earlier this morning when I was watching College Game Day because I did not know this little piece of news. A name in college football that is legendary is coaching his final home game today, and I'm referring to the man who had another style of ball named after him, and I'm talking about Beamer ball. Frank Beamer coaching his last home game today against North Carolina. It's kind of hard to use the word dynasty, but I'm going to use the word dynasty and tradition as far as VT goes. Shane, Cos, I don't know how well y'all followed VT and, of course, the career of Frank Beamer, but this man has been one of the most engaging, charismatic, personable, and as far as individuals go and as far as coaches go, well-respected. Shane, I'll head your way first.
Yeah, Frank Beamer, always a good interview I've heard by anyone that's ever covered him. How could you not? I mean, going back, the first memory that jumps out to me was that national title team, I believe 2000. Was it the 2000 year with Michael Vick when they played Florida State?
I think it might have been. I don't have
99 right in there, but I think there was just, I remember that so vividly. There was a big seismic, just everyone rooting for Virginia Tech. It just seemed like the little engine that could, even though he had put together a good resume before that. But his coaching career speaks for itself. Always well-respected program, always in Division I. Hate to see him go.
Cosper?
I'm not really too up-to-date on it, so I'm just going to, hey, good luck to you. Sounds like you had a great career. Adios. Get out of here.
That's what they're going to say about me when I finally hang up this radio station for real, and not because of a nuclear meltdown. Ha ha! Yeah, right. Okay. No, Cos will be taking that over.
No.
As long as somebody doesn't run through a power pole on a Sunday night.
Oh, the fun of living in my neighborhood.
Yeah, I know. You have people running through power poles. I have a squirrel that's committing Harry Carey on a transformer.
Man, I am telling you. I don't know what it is. It's these curves I live in, man. They take it out. It's not the first time it's happened.
Yeah, I know. Well, switching over to one of our primaries, of course, Survivor Series from WWE tomorrow network event, which is also available through traditional pay-per-view means. And this is where I'm going to kick John Layfield straight in the head for his nice little soliloquy Monday night that he loves to do, that Vince has him up his ass doing. It is available through traditional pay-per-view. It is not available through DirecTV and Dish. Of course not. They've ended their agreement. However, In Demand will be carrying it. Granted, it's probably going to be $40, $50, but I'm going to say this. For everybody who sits back and drinks the JBL Kool-Aid, remember one little thing. Yes, it's available on the network for $9.99. Yes, it's going to be considerably more, but here's where the techno nerds come into play and say, no, it's not the same. The network itself runs 720p on definition, which is a good version of high def. You go through traditional In Demand, it's going to be 1080. So it is a higher definition picture. So you get what you pay for 9 times out of 10, but by the same token, I can't bitch about the network. I've been watching a lot of the stuff this week during Undertaker week, and, I'm going to sit back and say this. There have been very few figures in the last 25 years, genuinely, that have made the impact, so to speak, and have maintained the level of respect that The Undertaker has. Now, personally, I remember all the way back to Texas Red and World Class, Mark Callis over at the, in WCW with the Twin Towers, and then, of course, the advent of the Deadman himself in World Wrestling Federation, the different managers he's gone through. And all the different matches, a lot of the different matches. I can't remember every match. Look, even I'm not that meticulous in AR. Close, but not quite. But, I do have to put his name, even though he's not a 15 or 16 time world champion, I do have to sit back and say The Undertaker, in my opinion, has created probably more. Here comes your hot spot for the day. In my book, he has created more memorable moments and more Kodak moments than even Nature Boy Ric Flair. Before y'all tackle that comment, I'll go ahead and turn in your directions. Kaz, you're up.
Oh, my Lord. I cannot believe you just said that.
And I'm a huge Flair fan. Still, but never meet your heroes.
With that, we wholeheartedly agree on. Right. I'm a huge Flair fan, but unfortunately, I've met him. I agree with a lot of what you say here, but not everything. For starters, it's not the Twin Towers. It's the freaking skyscrapers.
Skyscrapers, that's it. Twin Towers was WWF when it was a one-man gang and the other guy.
Big Boss Man.
Yeah.
But
you're right. I'm wrong.
I just love to throw rocks at you because it's fun.
I know.
Taker's had some tremendous moments. And you're right, plenty of Kodak moments, if you want to say it like that. I'm not going to say it surpasses Flair, because Flair's the greatest of all time. And that hurts me to say, because, Rude's my favorite, but Flair is the greatest of all time. And I'll tell you my favorite Taker moment, because honestly, I wasn't a huge fan of the Deadman character. When it first came out, I couldn't stand it. I like it better now. The American Badass is my favorite incarnation of the Undertaker.
Big Evil.
Yeah, and I think, to me, and it catches so much flack, and it doesn't get the credit it deserves because of the talent that stayed home. But when they were working when they first bought out WCW and were working the invasion angle, man, and DDP was stalking Taker's wife. You guys remember that?
Sarah, yeah.
All right. I think the coolest moment to me to the Undertaker was I believe it was either the King of the Ring or the Invasion pay-per-view itself. I can't remember. But when Taker's coming out to face DDP, and he just stops when he's just walking down the aisle. He's got his wife at the time with him, and he just stops and pulls those MMA gloves out of his back pocket and puts it on. And he's just putting his gloves on, staring DDP down. And you're just sitting there. It's like, man, Page is about to have his ass whipped. Yeah, that's my favorite Taker moment of all time, right there. Anyway, sorry, I agree with you for the most part there.
Shane Noles.
I agree with you as more moments. I think Kodak moments. You didn't say matches,
right?
Which is where I go also as a Ric Flair #1 fan of the Nature Boy. Is my favorite of all time in professional wrestling. I think Taker had more of those buzzworthy water cooler moments, I think, than certainly Ric Flair. But Ric Flair came along, in his prime in a different time.
Right.
And for me, The Undertaker, just to switch gears from Kaz, I was actually more of a fan when he first came out. Because it was just amazing to me to see someone that was impervious to pain, supposedly, but no-sold everything. I remember those early moments when he was in the Royal Rumble and like Hawk and Animal, the Legion of Doom, both clotheslined him over the top rope for an elimination, but he landed right on his feet and no soul and tried to get right back in. That's when that one little moment in the 1991 Royal Rumble where I was like, this guy's different. I mean, even though they'd been building him up as something, you could really see the company, had the rocket behind them. But yeah, you mentioned he's not a 15 or 16 time world champion. I think maybe 3. Is that correct?
So.
3 or 4?
I think it's 3.
3 all time, but yeah, and that's what the lasting testament, I think, to me for The Undertaker. He was never the guy, and I think we spoke of this before. He was never Hulk Hogan. He was never The Rock. He was never John Cena. He was never the company focus, really, as far as the main event guy that you push. But 25 years of that gimmick. Has anybody ever had a better character on a long-standing time in the mainstream than Mark Calloway?
As far as the name gimmick, because remember, and I hate using that word. No, because I just got through a discussion about with Smart Rage, Corey the Champion over on Wrestle Rage Radio. He was like 6 sentences, and 5 out of 6 sentences had the word gimmick. It's like, dude, people in the business don't use that word as much as you do. Love you, Corey. And he said, it's a disease, it's an illness, it's a rash. I have to scratch it. But no, yeah, and that's one of the things. And here's I'm going to run a parallel. Montana, universally recognized as one of the top echelon quarterbacks, if not one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, undefeated in Super Bowl, 4 rings. Terry Bradshaw never gets put in that comment. I'm sorry, and he has 4 too. But Terry was. I love Terry to death too, and I was a Cowboys fan during that run. But he actually, Franco Harris, Mean Joe Green, the Vampire, Jack Lambert, and everybody else started. It's like I really had to appreciate both teams. And thank God, Star Wars is only 3 weeks away.
Oh, you said it, brother. You said it.
We'll get to that in a little while. But here's the situation: whereas time has gone by, and the respective industries, football to wrestling, and yes, I'm making this comparison. I will put Flair at that Joe Montana level. But I will put The Undertaker at the Peyton Manning level. Okay, he had a setback here and there. A couple of bad storylines, and of course, the divorce with Sarah. Had to go through getting the Sarah off his neck. I'm so sorry he had to go through that. Never put a name on your body.
Ever.
Unless it's a pet that you've lost. But by the hey, bye, see ya, appreciate it, hold. And memories like that you can do. Or mom later in life. Never early. Too many websites nowadays. But the reason why I'll put, or I could almost put, see, here's the thing. And I'm going to go scattered for a hot second because I go ahead and put Flair at the Montana level. I will go ahead and put Cena at the Tom Brady level. Y'all are going to kill me for that, and I know it. I'm probably not going to hear the end of that comment. But I put Peyton and Taker on the same realm because they've been enduring personalities in their respective industries. They haven't won as many world championships as the others, but they are still held in that same regard and that same level of esteem. Agree or disagree? Shane Noles.
I agree, and one thing that's always stood out to me about The Undertaker is still his commitment to kayfabe. Even last week with an appearance on the Jimmy Fallon show, or the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. I don't know if you guys saw that. Where he, it was one of those things where Jimmy Fallon takes requests from the audience, and they said, I'd love to see The Undertaker tombstone a turkey. So they had a guy in a turkey suit. Taker comes out with the full, like the pyro and the lights and the music, and he tombstones the guy, but he stays in character the entire time he's up there. Like, never cracks a smile, never lets you know that he's being Mark. And that's just so rare with everybody nowadays, just so wide open to just expose anything about the business. Right. I think he's the last of a dying breed. But he came through the territorial system. So
yeah, he did. Cosper, your thoughts?
I'm going to agree with Shane, and you just touched on the territory system. That's the dying breed right there. And I'm a firm believer you need to go through the territory system to be great. I honestly think you need to go through that. But Taker himself, just keep in mind, he's one of the most professional guys of all time, and he's stood the test of time that entire career. I've never seen Taker be anything but professional. You know, I mean, keep in mind he was still professional. Go back to the incident with Vader and what, Kuwait was it when he snatched the reporter up. Keep in mind Taker was sitting right there. Again, totally professional. He always has been. During the Monday Night Wars, when everybody was defecting, Taker was your locker room leader. Cause, you know, I mean, he's just been. I guess you could say it since you wanted to make a football references. Taker's probably your best all around player ever. You know. Huge fan. Not necessarily of the Deadmen gimmick, but I'm a huge fan of his professionalism. And keep in mind, you know, he's had so many big moments that, you know, we've talked about several. Keep in mind, first Hell in the Cell match.
Yep.
You know, several classic ones after that. He and Michaels, a classic. He and Mankind, Foley, however you want to say it, classic. You know.
I've got to go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm just rambling.
You brought up Taker Michaels. You brought up Hell in a Cell, which makes me think Taker Foley, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that pops into my head is, here comes my favorite word. Okay, one of my top 10 favorite words. Professionalism. You had, during that run, a pure level. I'm not going to say the highest. I'm not going to say the greatest. I'm going to say a pure level of professionalism. And this is something, hello, boom, that a lot of people don't get in this day and age. Because everything, and I went off about this recently, and I'm going to do a short run on this one. Everybody's so freaking worried about getting themselves over. You have to remember, you have to put butts in the seats in order to get yourself over. You can be a keyboard warrior on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat and LinkedIn and Google Plus all day long. But that don't put money in your pocket. Putting butts in the chairs, and I don't mean comps. I mean people who pay at the door and say, I can't wait to see him kick ass tonight. Guess what? That's how you get over, and that's how you get respect. When people, of course, you do have those that's like, I mean, all these people talking about coming to see him. Well, guess what? Do something memorable and they'll talk about you. And they'll pay their money to come see you kick ass.
You're exactly right.
I will stop there for now. Cause you started in. Come on.
No, mark it down. I 100% agree with you right there. Spot on, brother. Spot on. And you're right. It is. You hear so much about, well, why are they here to see him? You know, and I can do this. Well, it's probably a reason right there.
Shane Noles.
You know, one thing that stands out to me once more about The Undertaker, and I was just thinking about this, was I read a lot of wrestlers' books. I'm sure you guys have as well.
Oh, yeah.
To my knowledge, a testament to The Undertaker, not one person that I've ever seen in a wrestler's autobiography buried The Undertaker or took a cheap shot at him. So once again, the testament to his professionalism. I mean, guys that would never work for the E again because of their, you know, well, never say never, of course, but with their hostility with Vince McMahon. But still, everyone always in their books puts over Mark is what a tremendous locker room leader, professionalism, how you should act on the road, how you should act at an event. And I think that's a testament because, I mean, anybody, Hogan, Flair, Triple H, they've all been buried in people's books. I've never seen one negativity about The Undertaker.
You know, I have to sit back and just smile about certain things as it pertains because I'm going to give this one other little tidbit, and I kind of shot on this Wednesday. I put the show first. There are times when it's like when I'm doing promotion for Beyond Ringside, Saturday Showcase, BR Live, Back to Basics, I may put my name first. But if you go back over the promos, there's times I put Shane's name first. There's times I put Kaz's name first, even when he's not here.
Bait and switch, if you will.
Yeah. But nonetheless, I always mention the show first. Case point scenario. I'll even give you another one to consider. Look, ever since I stepped down as commissioner of Global Championship Wrestling to move full-time into commentary position, I'm not the commissioner. I'm not the authority figure. But by the same token, even when I was, did I ever bitch and whine about not making a poster? No. Did I actually make a poster? Yes, because the owner put me on the damn thing once.
You were actually on it?
I was actually on one. But
that's a collector's item.
Yeah, really. Let's see. I've made a poster from Global. I've made a poster from Power Pro, which I still have somewhere around here. And one or two other companies have been kind enough to put my grinning mug on a poster. And it's like, I'm eternally grateful and thankful. But here's the fact of the matter. I'm a support player. I'm not in-ring talent. I'm not a manager. I'm not a referee. I'm not one of the frontline people who gets into the ring or immediately around the ring. Even when I was commissioner, I stayed on the stage.
You got in the ring that one time.
Say what?
I said you got in the ring that one time.
Actually, 2 times, because there was that one time that Micah Taylor choked me out with a sleeper hold. There was another time that Micah Taylor smacked me on the head with a frickin' chair.
I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. A 2-inch dent in the 2-inch deep dent in the chair. I still never did go get myself checked for a freaking concussion, even though I should have. C1, C2, C3 compressed. Thank you very much.
It was a shot. I will give you that. Never let it be said that Eddie Layne cannot take a chair shot. Yeah. He can.
Shane, have you ever seen that moment?
I never have seen your moment. I was sitting here thinking I'd much rather take a chair shot from Tracy.
I'd rather take. Oh boy!
Don't even say that out loud, sir.
I'd rather take a sleep number shot from Tracy. There, I said it anyway. Ha!
Oh wow!
Rather take hula lessons from Tracy. That would be a scary thought. And right now, somewhere around here, the CFO of Full Range Entertainment is going, yeah, we're not getting you back in the coconut bra and the grass skirt, Eddie. Leave it alone. Let it go. I think there might still be a picture of that floating around cyberspace, too. Shut up, Kaz. Now, before we go to the bottom of the hour break, and I know I'm picking a precarious time to really bring this one up, but sticking with the Taker thing for just a hot second, I'm really, okay. I'm one of those, as a traditionalist in a lot of ways, I am really enjoying and smiling the factor of how much Taker and Kane have been together as the Brothers of Destruction over the last few episodes. And I love the fact that they're keeping the focus in a good realm, because even though that one night in particular, they pretty much buried the entire Wyatt family in less than 5 minutes on the run-in. But they're building everything for the match tomorrow at Survivor Series in such a way you really can't help but want to tune in. If for nothing else, people are talking more about this, the Brothers of Destruction on pay-per-view, so to speak, $9.99 per view, as they are the World Championship Tournament. I mean, in my book, that's what the majority of what I'm seeing. Taker, Kane, they're not seeing Rollins, Ambrose, Owens, and ADR. But I'm going to throw this one out there. Knowing the fact that they are making that one more run with the Brothers of Destruction, if you did not have the network already, would you be inclined to buy it just for that appearance? Shane?
Oh, that's tough. I mean, me personally, I will say no. I've, as much as I like The Undertaker, I've never actually been on board with the Brothers of Destruction. And that's, I guess that is an ill-aimed shot at Kane, but truly it's not. It's never really got me hyped as one of the great tag teams.
Robert?
I'm in complete agreement with Shane. It's never been my thing either. I mean, they're a big, tough, destructive team, but they're not really a team to me. They don't function as a team with teamwork. They're not your traditional tag teams. Now, I've never been a huge fan either. That would not be a selling point for me.
Tell you what, folks, hang tight. Going to take the bottom of the hour break real quick, and we'll be back on the Shooters Gallery right here on the Saturday Showcase right after this.
This is Country Jack, Corey Hollis, and you are locked in to Beyond Ringside. When planning your next party or special event, insist on the best. Full Range Entertainment is a professional entertainment company providing a full range of services. From professional disc jockeys and MCs to catering and photography, when the details of your special day must be perfect, call us first. Wedding receptions, corporate parties, school functions, birthday celebrations, and more. We also have Birmingham's largest selection of karaoke tracks available. With over 40 years combined experience, Full Range Entertainment can provide you with the talent and professionalism you need and deserve to make your next event one you'll never forget. For more information on the full range of services we offer, call 533-HITS. That's 533-HITS. Or check us out on our website at fullrangeentertainment.com.
This is Evan Ginsberg, associate producer of the movie The Wrestler, host of Legends Radio and Legends TV, and you're locked into Beyond Ringside.
Howdy, friends. This is the Magic City Motormouth, Fast Eddie Layne, with your invitation to join yours truly, along with Mark Mabo Bowman and the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, every Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific, for Beyond Ringside Live. Wrestling, mixed martial arts, sports talk, and a whole lot more. Keep your eyes open on BeyondRingside.com for all of upcoming show information, and of course, catch us on social media as well. Until then, we'll see you this Sunday, 6:30 Eastern, for Beyond Ringside Live on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
This is Larry Goodman, GWH News and Notes, and you're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
The To Be Determined show live Wednesday nights, 9 Central Standard Time. Join myself, the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, the Grand Design, Clyde Braddock, and the Magic City Motormouth, Fast Eddie Layne, as we take you to the edge of uncensored. Yes, we go uncensored, so make sure you have your earmuffs. Ask your parents, for those of you that are a little young, maybe under 18, but make sure if you have any heart conditions or any mental defects, please listen, because they may take effect right here live every Wednesday night, 9 Central Standard Time. Beyond Ringside Radio Network, beyondringside.com.
This is Dr. Tom Pritchard, and if you want to listen to the best in professional wrestling, get locked in to Beyond Ringside.
And this time it's for real. Power outage. Sorry about that. Cosper, are you sure you didn't send the person who ran through your power pole to come attack mine?
I would never do such a thing.
Wouldn't be the first time we've had that happen. Welcome back in. Shooters Gallery back open for business. 18 before the top of the hour. So up and down the line, I'm going to go and say we will probably go extended on this one through the traditional top of the hour break. Fast Eddie Layne in Studio 1, the Cause in the C&E Studios.
What's up, what's up?
Live from the Peach State, Shane Noles.
Man, I couldn't help but think that little power surge, maybe it was a sign from The Undertaker. Maybe I shouldn't have badmouthed the Brothers Destruction.
Didn't even think about that. Thank you.
It's on you, Shane. It's on you, brother.
Yeah, but it killed my computers. Damn it. But, Kaz, you said during the break that you had somewhere you wanted to go, speaking of Taker.
Yeah, but that was like 30 minutes ago. I forgot where I was. Remy, my buddy Remy, he'll attend Mania if it's somewhere within driving distance, And he's already called to check on Mania tickets in Texas for 2016. And tickets where he likes to sit are going for $10,000. That's 10, 10 followed by 3 more zeros. That's a lot of money for a ticket. My point being, if they're charging that much for tickets, and that's ticket sale price, that's not scalper price, they obviously have something big on the books to be asking that kind of money. Is this it? It's going to be in Texas. We've all heard the rumors. We've talked about it here. Is this it? Is this the Taker's finale? Are we going to get the Taker and Sting? This is going to be Taker's last match? What do you guys think?
Shane?
I think on that $10,000 ticket price, I can't imagine what the rent is for Jerry's World there in Dallas, Texas. That may have something to do with it, just besides what they may have on the book.
That is a good point.
Can't imagine. I mean, as of now, we're getting close to Royal Rumble season, and that's when it turns into Mania season, I mean, there really doesn't seem to be anything jumping out at you, or certainly to me, that would make you think. Of course, I know they certainly have time, but does an Undertaker-Sting match at this point, could they get it built up to that point, considering how, in my opinion, they devalued Sting in his WWE run? Could they get it back to that special moment that would actually move tickets to that level? I think, in my opinion, they could if they made one of the guys an outright heel. It's like what Eddie alluded to earlier about putting butts in seats. I don't want to see, for me, the friendly handshake of respect, you and I should have a match. I would like to see someone be a bona fide heel in this program to actually put some steam into it to sell some tickets.
I agree, and honestly, your obvious heel would be Taker, but I would love to see Sting work the heel angle. And I think it's totally possible in a WWE run for sure. WCW was always afraid to pull the trigger on it. They teased it a time or two, but never
I'm
really
right there
pulled
with
the trigger.
you, Cos. I'm right there with you, because what better way could he be talking about a WWE outsider? And everybody put him down at Mania. This isn't Starrcade. Thank you, JPL. And just completely trashed on him. Well, what if he was like the last defiant, I don't know, like a WWE outsider? And what better way than to cut off the head of the guy who's been there 25 years?
Absolutely. I think that would be a good program. I would like to see that. Will they pull the trigger? So I remember, WCW, towards the end, it was like 99, maybe, it was late 99, maybe late 2000. Remember they turned Sting heel for 3 weeks, he and Luger? I enjoyed it. I've been waiting almost 20 years to see that, And, and they went about 3 weeks with it, and that was it. I was like, man, this is the best thing they have done in a long time, and they got away from it.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to carry on about the Sting and Luger friendship. Just everybody knew it for years, but they actually pulled the trigger on it. I was happy. Anyway, go ahead.
As someone who watched Mid-South and the Universal Wrestling Federation, when Sting was genuinely making his foray into a more national spotlight, away from Power Team USA, away from the Blade Runners, Sting, when he was teamed up, and this is where I give the popularity of the UWF and Mid-South Wrestling so much credit. Because he was a part of Hyatt and Hot Stuff International. Rick Steiner, Sting, tag champions, Eddie Gilbert, TV champion, along with Missy Hyatt. Too bad I couldn't say Tammy Sitch. I would have said Skype champion. But sorry about that, kids. But
that's $9.99 per day, not a month.
It's per minute. Even my credit card says, "What you smoking, Willis?" But remember, Missy Hyatt did have her own website for a little while there, and her own pictures floating around. Wow,
lawsuit over one of those pictures.
Yeah, I know. But the point that I'm getting to, in my own inimitable fashion, write that phrase down. It will come back. There you go. Is the factor that even when Sting and Steiner were heel in the UWF, they were never, primarily Sting was never really over as a heel. He was over as being himself. Even when he was a traditional rule breaker, villain, Rudo. No. He was over with the fans because he was who he was. He was a little bit different, a lot athletic. I mean, even for the physical condition he was in at that point, which was jacked.
Mm-hmm.
He was over. Now, they will, it's like, okay, fine. He pulls out an object or holds a foot down during a pin attempt or something like that, or they pull the 2-on-1 in the corner, the Anderson rule. And yeah, of course, they're going to get a little bit of a boo. But even when Sting was in the ring as part of Hyatt and Hot Stuff International, as a rule breaker, he was cheered and got popped quite often. So, lo and behold, here's the problem with Sting being a heel. Lo and behold, he's too over. People boo John Cena because they want to. People boo John Cena because they can. People boo John Cena because it's fashionable. As far as it goes with somebody like Sting, you just can't do it. You really can't. You have an easier time turning Hornswoggle. You have an easier time. Of course, everybody's waiting on Roman Reigns. Everybody's waiting on Dean Ambrose. And that's the problem with our culture nowadays. We've had it happen to the most inobvious people at the most obvious times. So therefore now everybody looks for it. The consensus is John Cena should turn heel. It's been going on for 5 years.
And it's not going to happen.
And the nice little in-ring thing that he did, I feel like doing some dancing, a little bit of jig, maybe a heel turn. That was hilarious as hell, by the way. Nicely played, John.
It was.
Yeah, it was. Beautifully done. But even if Cena turned heel, how many more people would really boo him? If he turns heel, the people that are booing him for not being a heel are going to cheer him for being a heel. Catch 22. I don't see how Sting can possibly, unless they screw it up, and make him the whiny, bitchy heel, which I can't stand.
No, he doesn't need to do that route.
Look, to me, a heel should be sarcastic. A heel should be condescending. A heel should be better than you without using the phrase better than you. And I don't
Your traditional heel, yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, and there's that word again, tradition. But I
think we just described the wicked nemesis, and that's his first mention of the day. So
there you go.
Don't mention him. He'll call. Are you kidding me?
No, actually, he was supposed to call this morning due to the fact that we were going to move football predictions to this segment of the program. But no, I mean,
it's in our contract. I've got to plug him at least twice on the program. He's not going to answer. So.
No, it's kind of like that Candyman or Beetlejuice reference. You do have to say his name 3 times in concurrent sequence. But no, taking what I just said, I'm going to open it back up in y'all's direction. Shane, you first. Sting heel impossible.
I'm the one that advocated for the Sting if they were going to do the Taker match to turn heel. I'm right there with you. I don't think he should be the whiny heel, but yeah, it's tough to turn him. But this is just my personal preference. That people who say they can't turn John Cena because they worry about merchandise sales. Hulk Hogan, when he turned, the NWO Hollywood Hogan merchandise moved like gangbusters. I also remember in 2003 when Triple H was a heel, people were buying those shirts at Phillips Arena in Atlanta. What I want to do, when I want to do it. He was the main heel in the company. So I think if you're selling the merchandise to the kids and the females, like what you spoke of, the people that are booing him now, any male over the age of, I'd say, 18 to 20, those may find him a cool heel, and the merch sales you may lose to kids, you may pick up in the older demographic. But on Sting, I just think that's the only route. I don't think they can turn Undertaker and make him a heel on the way out if that's his final WrestleMania. But they could find a way where, like, I don't know if Sting was, and I mean, they played that card last year with WCW, but if he was just, if they did the videos right, and Sting, talking about what a franchise player and all that, but it doesn't mean anything here. And if he took some indirect shot to Taker being the franchise of WWE, if he brought Vince's name, and this would be a perfect spot for Vince McMahon to actually appear on television because he hasn't been in a while. But if he came out and was part like a moderator or somewhere involved, not in the build-up to the angle, but maybe one segment, I think it could get over as important. Like this brought Vince out of the belfry, so to speak, out of the shadows, something important.
I like that idea. I agree. Do a calculated, evil, darker Sting. I think it would fly.
Yeah, imagine if he went back to that old Crow Sting circa late 97, 98, where he didn't speak as much, but he spoke through videos that he showed, or maybe cryptic messages or whatnot. So you really never got how does Sting actually feel. There's actually some intrigue and mystery, and that's what these two characters basically have been built on.
Exactly, and I think that would sell, and I agree with you on the merchandise sales. I think what you would lose to the kids, and you might not lose that many, honestly. What you would lose, you would pick up, and guys like me that, hey, I'm a fan of the heels. I make no bones about that,
I was going to say, you probably don't own a Hustle, Loyalty, Respect T-shirt. But
no,
if they
I don't.
turn Cena the right way, you might pick something up.
Exactly.
Wait a minute. I have to argue. I just visited Castle Cause recently after the last UFC event, and he does have a Hustle, Loyalty, Respect T-shirt, and it is lining the bottom of his dog pit.
That is true. Now I do. Somebody.
Well, you put it to good use.
Now I can tell you this. I'm not saying that there's a C&E spoof on the books or anything, but I can tell you this: that somebody gave me a Hulkamania T-shirt years ago, and I have that, and I dug out of my closet an old pair of black Tommy Hilfiger carpenter pants. Never say never, brother.
When it comes crashing down and it hurts inside.
I'm telling you, there's a great spoof to be made out of that.
Oh God, yes.
Especially in Hogan's recent headlines.
Dude, I have to still sit back and say I believe one of the biggest things, one of my favorite things of all time was still when Vince McMahon turned it around on Billionaire Ted and was doing the Billionaire Ted with the Huckster and the Nacho Man.
Oh, man.
Those were just funny.
If they'd left Randy Savage out of it, it would have been absolutely hilarious.
No, because remember, Savage was a huge shill for Slim Jim still at that point.
Oh, I
and
know.
They went with him.
Don't forget Scheme Gene.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I forgot
Coming
about
up today on the
Steve
WCW hotline for $9.99 for the first minute and $2.99 for additional second or some crap like that.
Yeah, that stuff was actually hilarious. I just hated that Macho was included because they got some great shots in on Macho.
And I watched the Monday Night War DVD, the recent one. Mm-hmm. And lo and behold, even Bischoff and everybody else was sitting back going, and Ted thought they were hilarious.
They were.
People knew Ted Turner knew exactly what they were doing. There was no veiled reference, and he was not insulted by it in the least. It's like, I think they I don't think the gap in my, what was it? He said something one time. It's like, I don't think the gap between my teeth is that small. So, lo and behold, yeah, it's like, if you do it and do it right, and therein lies the statement for the day. When you do it right. Because when you don't do it right, people see it. And you can never take it back once it's been done. It doesn't matter where or what forum you're in. But see,
right.
Here's my...
And that's what, you say it so right, do it right, Eddie, because, and I'm not saying my way, my pitch for Sting turning heel, but, if it wasn't something like that, and it was more of the whiny, what about me, like the Owen Hart style, if Sting did that, I think fans would think it would feel forced. You spoke so good on that it would feel forced, it wouldn't feel right. But if Sting spoke about being the franchise player at WCW and having the beef of never being treated as such, fans could rally behind that as a heel, if that makes sense.
The only thing that bothers me about that whole scenario coming into play, the loss to Triple H the previous year and the loss to Seth Rollins. Here's where the mathematician in me, the numbers nerd, comes out. Granted, there has been time gone by. But however, if in that one circumstance you have the former franchise player, granted, remember you had more run-ins during that match than you had drug screenings for the Yankees back in the late 90s.
Oh, it was the entire 90s Monday Night War of who was still alive and could move by the end of that match.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And that, in a lot of ways, it didn't cheapen the victory for Triple H or cheapen the loss for Sting on that one. But still, I know that they were using that to set up something else. But you also had the situation with Seth Rollins. Now, believe it or not, I enjoyed that match. Sting gave a great account in that particular match, and Seth looked great. They made each other look good, which to me, that is what pro wrestling's all about. You got two individuals in that ring, and here goes your curtain reference for a minute there, kids. When you've got two intelligent people who know how to work, they know how to make each other look good because they know that if they make their opponent look good, they're going to look good in the process. Psychology, master's degree, end of discussion. But no, seriously, the mathematician in me, the math nerd, just looks at me like there's no way that they could build Sting. And I've been wrong before, once or twice. There's no way that they can put it together to where they can make Sting look that strong and then turn around and everybody's going to immediately think, oh, Sting's going to job to take her. It's like, let the match happen first. That's what I hate about the internet. But seriously, go ahead.
Could they do something with the Royal Rumble where Sting enters the Royal Rumble and maybe Taker does as well? And you get that moment where a couple of guys have been eliminated. They're the only two in the ring. Do they fight? Do they not? You get the stare down, etc. But what if one eliminated the other in the Royal Rumble? Then you've got something to play with, like Sting was going for his first Rumble moment. Taker eliminated him, or Taker says, "This is my last Royal Rumble. I'm on the road to WrestleMania for the title shot." Sting took that from him.
Cos?
Sorry, I had the mic muted. I don't know. I mean, you could set it up on just something that simple, and you have your controversy, you have your boiling point, your heat, whatever you want to call it there, and that could lead you to an interesting road to WrestleMania of Sting and Taker taking shots at each other, and I think it could build from there, yes.
Because what I could see Taker doing a promo after Survivor Series saying, "My final Royal Rumble, my final WrestleMania in my hometown, I will be wrestling for the title." And then, not so much. Sting took that moment from you, and then whoever is in the title picture, that's the main event. Sting and Taker could be a really good semi-main.
Oh, absolutely. Honestly, though, if it's going to be Taker's last run, last Mania in his hometown, I think you make that the main. That's just me, though. Could they close the show though? Do they have enough? Did either one of them have enough left in the tank to close WrestleMania?
Oh God, yes. At this point, I think so. If they work a smart match, look, you can look at Taker, you can look at Sting, and even when they were 20, 22 years old, when they were 25 years ago for both of them, they weren't doing a Ring of Honor style match.
No. Absolutely not.
The closest you got was when Taker would do the jumping dive over the top rope. And unfortunately, that foot was just about 2 inches too long on one different occasion. Splat face.
Yes.
I remember that to this day. I'm not worried about the way they would work a match because I know that with the styles that they have in play between the two of them, they would work a smart match. I think it would be, knowing Taker, knowing Sting, it would be intelligently laid out. They would,
without a doubt. Yeah.
I mean, are we going to see something like ACH versus Caprice Coleman? Hell no. Who cares? I love ACH and Caprice Coleman. Don't get me wrong, but I know that that's not the style that Sting and Taker would work. So that's why I say it the way that I did. You'd have
Can I throw something in there that might be groan-inducing, but it just hit my mind. I talked about incorporating Vince McMahon into this, bringing him out of the shadows of the Belfry. What if he was the special guest referee? Then you have the caveat of, is he going to really squash Sting? Is that what's best for business? Or is he going to turn on Taker? I could just see that moment being a happy moment if Taker went over to his hometown, and there's Vince in the stripes raising his hand, maybe doing a promo, applauding, leaving the ring, leaving Mark all by himself. That's a good feel-good moment to go home with.
Must interject something. Lee Corso has effectively jinxed Ohio State. Before I could audible, I'm calling Michigan State in the upset.
Ooh.
This game has been riding on my shoulders all week. Look, I have a world of respect for Ohio State University. Do I feel that they're playing like defending national champions? Not really. Times change. A year goes by. But I'm going to lay this one out there. Michigan State has been on the biggest roller coaster in creation. They've had their oh my God moments. They've had their convincing moments. They've had their ups and downs. To which I will sit back and say this very clearly. This is one of those days where I feel, sorry, they're showing the opening segment of the Virginia Tech game, and a lot of people are holding up signs saying, "Thank you, coach."
Would you finish a point? Quit worrying about dead blame football.
Okie dokie. But Michigan State, Sparty knows what today is. It is their chance to play spoiler. It is their chance to go ahead and just come back to everybody and say, "Ha, told you we had it in us." So lo and behold, I am calling the upset today. Michigan State defeats Ohio State. Plain and simple. Will it be a touchdown? Probably not. Will it be a safety? Maybe. But Michigan State, sorry, they got this one. Shane?
What was the score in the Big Ten title game last year? Was it 55-0? Is that correct?
I think it might have been.
I think that's some extra chip on the shoulder for Sparty.
Yeah.
I've debated that one all week. And like you spoke, you've got that feeling. Sometimes in November, those winds start blowing. We start seeing things that should not happen. And Michigan State's had a couple of those already this season. I think Ohio State has played down to the competition with the Illinois and the Western Michigans, whatnot of the world. This is a true measuring stick for them to make a statement if they are national title worthy this particular year. Not next year, not last year, this year. And I'm begrudgingly going to say Ohio State finds a way to win the ball. I like nothing more than Michigan State to win this game, but I just don't know. I've got a feeling Iowa may be the team that gets Ohio State the Big Ten title this year.
Guys, any thoughts?
And it hurts me to say that because if there's anything that grinds my gears more, it's the Ohio State University.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead, Cosper. Any thoughts?
You did this, Lane. Just remember that. I'm going to touch on one of Shane's points of it's November, and conditions are right for Auburn to upset Alabama's apple cart. I had to do it. You threw football at me. There you go.
No, go ahead, dude.
No, I'm just trying to say something off the wall to mess you up for putting me in football conversation. But I do. I think conditions are right for Auburn to upset all the Bammers. I really do. Odds of them beating Alabama next week, slim and none, But if they do, man, close the bridges.
Yeah, really.
Sidewalks throughout the state.
Better yet, close the borders.
I was going to say, whatever televisions didn't sell on Black Friday will be sold Sunday.
Yes, you are exactly right.
So they will be, so people can throw them out the windows. However, now you got me started on Alabama and Auburn. Granted, we both have a game in between because Auburn has Idaho, at 3:00 this afternoon at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Tickets, I do believe, are still very much available.
I imagine they are.
Alabama has number 2 ranked. Alabama has Pleasant Grove Charleston Southern. I call a spade when we're playing a FCS team. I will call that out. I don't have a problem with it. At least Idaho's D1. I think. At least their potatoes are. Keep away from the GMO version. By the way, for the record, Ohio State is a 13-point favorite as of this moment right now. So we still got about 3 hours before game time.
I would definitely take the spread for Michigan State. I don't see 2 touchdowns by the Buckeyes being the final margin of victory.
Over set at 52. Oh, correction. Never mind. It just bolted. It's 14.5. Well, the money line picked to 15. Yeah.
I like Michigan State even better now.
Yeah, me too. Like I said, if OSU wins, it's not going to be by 2 touchdowns. There's a big chip on some shoulders, and like I said, Michigan State, God, will they get a miracle finish like they did earlier in the year? It's Big Ten football. Who cares? It can happen. It will happen. For the record, let me see. Yeah, right now it's 14.5, over set at 52. I am taking. I'm still taking Michigan State. I don't care about the numbers. This is one time where it's like gut is saying Sparty, plain and simple. Both games earlier, both games 3:00 this afternoon. Don't you wish in next week, 1 week from today, that one game in particular could be at 3:00 in the afternoon, if not 2:00 in the afternoon, Shane?
Oh, absolutely.
Tell you what. We said we're going to run a little bit long on this segment, balancing out the timeline. So real quick, going to go ahead and take the top of the hour break a little bit late. Folks, hang with us. Shooters Gallery comes back in just a moment.
This is Super Cop Dick Justice, America's favorite wrestler, American-born hero. And right now, like a stiff bear hug, you are locked into Beyond Ringside.
Howdy, friends. This is the Magic City Motor Mouth, Fast Eddie Layne, with your invitation to join yours truly, along with Mark Mabo Bowman and the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, every Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific for Beyond Ringside Live. Wrestling, mixed martial arts, sports talk, and a whole lot more. Keep your eyes open on BeyondRingside.com for all of upcoming show information, and of course, catch us on social media as well. Until then, we'll see you this Sunday, 6:30 Eastern for Beyond Ringside Live on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
Hi, this is Shane Noles of the Peach State Wrestling Alliance, and right now you are locked and loaded listening live to Beyond Ringside.
When planning your next party or special event, insist on the best. Full Range Entertainment is a professional entertainment company providing a full range of services. From professional disc jockeys and MCs to catering and photography, when the details of your special day must be perfect, call us first. Wedding receptions, corporate parties, school functions, birthday celebrations, and more. We also have Birmingham's largest selection of karaoke tracks available. With over 40 years combined experience, Full Range Entertainment can provide you with the talent and professionalism you need and deserve to make your next event one you'll never forget. For more information on the full range of services we offer, call 533-HITS. That's 533-HITS. Or check us out on our website at fullrangeentertainment.com.
Hour one of the books, hour two underway. Let's have a little fun. Welcome back into the Shooter's Gallery. Fast Eddie Layne over here. Cos, welcome back.
I didn't realize I left. Great, all right.
Shane Noles, welcome back.
Still here and accounted for.
All of the above. We were having a little off-air discussion, and I'm just going to go ahead and say, you know something? There's times where I just sit back and say, we do cover everything, and we can have any kind of conversation we want to, but just because we can. We were talking about Johnny Carson a minute ago because one of the PSAs that was playing, and it was the Live United PSA. If you listen on the live version, you know what I'm talking about. If you're listening in replay, I cut all those out so you don't have to sit through them. But it reminded me of a voice that the iconic and legendary late Johnny Carson would do every once in a while. And it's like that voice just resonated in my mind. And we were talking about different characters that Johnny Carson would do during the Tonight Show. And one of them, of course, was the mainstay Art Fern and the Tea Time movie. Well, lo and behold, I had the name just popped in my head because I remember this woman so vividly. Carol Wayne was the spokesmodel who stood beside him. Very rarely said anything she didn't have to.
When it wasn't needed.
And I was not joking, about the fact that I actually have a copy in the archives somewhere in storage of the edition of Playboy magazine that she did. And it's like, we're talking about different people who've gone in Playboy over the years. And who was it that brought up, Shane, was it you that brought up Diane Parkinson?
Diane Parkinson, a Barker's Beauty from The Price is Right.
Yeah. Actually, there were two Barker's Beauties that did because Janice Pennington, or was it... Okay, both Pennington sisters were in Playboy at different points, and I'm trying to remember. No, it was Diane Pennington who was the Barker's Beauty.
She was. We were robbed of never getting to see Miss Holly.
Ah, yes. Here's the funny part. I believe her actual last name was Homestead. Missed it by one syllable. Yes, you didn't get the redhead in there, damn it. But that's just me. You know, and Cos brought up the factor of or Cos agreed to the original first episode or first issue episode, of Playboy that featured Marilyn Monroe, which were actually stock photos where Hefner paid, I think it was like maybe $200 to get the copies of those pictures that he could run in the magazine in E1, volume 1, edition 1 is what I was trying to think about. Not episode, edition. It's so many words running through the brain and so many different voices too. But, you know, it's funny because I joke about this, but I'm actually dead serious. I had a subscription for years and I noted the collectability factor of the magazine. And I still have a ton of them still in the original wrappers. They never got opened. And when I found out that Kim Kardashian was supposedly their guest celebrity doing an appearance, that was the episode or edition where I called and said, cancel my subscription. Because we moved into a timeline where the word celebrity is, pardon the expression, so whored out, it's not even funny. And it's like, yeah, they succumbed to the pressure and they decided to go for the cheap ratings. Well, guess what? They ain't getting my money because my money ain't cheap. So, if there was a turning point, it's kind of like Sable Yes, was in there. Tori Wilson. I think Candace Michelle was in there also, wasn't she?
She was, and I was going to bring that up. I did that as a trivia question months back. There were 2 issues of Playboy that completely sold out, one being the Marilyn Monroe and the other being Sable.
So we answered the trivia question without it being asked.
I did.
Speaking of, go ahead and fire it if you have one ready from Useless Trivia this past week.
I do. I have one pertaining to the subject at hand, no pun intended. At 55 years old, who is the oldest female to ever pose nude for Playboy?
Okay, are we talking centerfold or are we talking period?
Centerfold.
55?
55.
I'm going to be at a loss for that one because, like I said, I'm pretty sure it might have happened after the Kardashian cancellation. So, and Kaz is away from the microphone right now, so I'll go and ask you to go and fire the answer.
Nancy Sinatra.
Okay. I think that may have actually been No, that was in a celebrity section. That wasn't a centerfold.
Oh, my apologies. I thought she was a centerfold.
No, because I also remember when back in the day the original issue they did with Raquel where she teased everything but didn't show everything. Mm-hmm. And Kaz, would you have gotten that answer correct?
I missed the question. I had to take a quick break. What was the question? I heard Raquel Welch, and man, she's smoking.
Still smoking to this day. Go,
Shane? My favorite episode of Mork and Mindy. Whew, man. Did you guys remember when she was in Mork and Mindy? I think that was the hottest she's ever been.
Yeah.
Of course, her
and Anne Margaret and Sophia Loren. There must have been something in the water.
I think
they're not lying there. Yeah, it's still beautiful. Yes. Sophia Loren. My goodness. No, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Shane, go ahead and give him the question.
Well, if I'm correct, at 55 years old in the mid or late 1990s, who was the oldest woman to ever pose nude for Playboy?
Would that be Farrah, I guess? Was it Farrah Fawcett?
At the time, it was Nancy Sinatra. Frank.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But Farrah did a thing in the mid-90s again for Playboy, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it amazed me a lot of the different people who have knowingly posed for Playboy. The reason why I say is the simple fact that go back to the original Suzanne Summers pictorial that was in Playboy. She originally had not posed for the pictures to be in Playboy. She had posed for a photographer who in turn sold them to Playboy.
Her fault for posing, buddy.
There you go. I didn't complain. But by the same token, it's like it was the pre-Chrissy era in which she had the pictures taken. So for anybody who was looking for the Three's Company Suzanne Summers, you were slightly disappointed probably. But if you were just looking for Suzanne Summers, you were quite happy.
You got the American Graffiti version.
Yeah, there you go.
There's nothing wrong with that, though. She was smoking in American Graffiti. I mean, she looked like Chrissy Snow there. She had the same look going on. You know?
Well, I mean, it's kind of like Pamela Anderson. Because remember, she was there before she was in Home Improvement. And as time went on, you saw the evolution and de-evolution of Pamela Anderson. Or she about the same time she was hitting Baywatch. So as you saw, let's see, hold on, it was Home Improvement, then it was Baywatch,
right?
And yeah, because I think it was during the first season of Home Improvement that she did the pictorial, the first one. And then she's come back after augmentation surgery and done a couple more, and I think she's got another one on the way.
I was going to say, you said evolution. That was a good way to put it.
Yeah. It's like a pictorial history of her breast surgery.
Yeah, pretty much. God. She could do like Jenny McCarthy and save them all and sell them on eBay for charity. She's such a big fan of PETA.
Oh, my goodness.
No, yeah, and I groan when I say that too, because look, realistically speaking, I don't believe, I hate agenda-based organizations, but by the same token, I'm one of those who will sit back and back the Shelter Prep Project to the nth degree.
You know, I'm an animal guy. Now, I think PETA goes over the top, but I'm big on rescuing animals, man.
Yeah, very true. What's funny is, a recent road, matter of fact, it was on the way to Peach State, wasn't it? Where Kaz, myself, and the says Schmidtke pulled off in Pell City, Alabama to grab something from Chick-fil-A real quick. And lo and behold, this stray dog is running around. I'm believing that it's somebody a dog who belongs to somebody in the restaurant or at a car and just kind of eked away. And then as we're driving off, that poor puppy I'm starting to cross the intersection at the main point in Pell City, and we're kind of like arguing. It's like, okay, we're going to stop it. I'm going to get it. No, I'm going to get it. No, I'll keep it. And it's like,
yeah. If Smicky would have stopped the truck, I'd have had another mouth to feed. I can tell you that.
No, I'd have fought you for that one. That was a cute puppy, dude.
If we'd saved it, I'd have let you have it, brother. I just didn't want to see it run over.
If we were heading back instead of heading away, I'd have said, yeah, it's on. But because I'd have brought it here to Studio One. End of discussion.
I'm glad I'm retired from wrestling because we're totally killing my heel persona here.
You are not retired from wrestling.
I am retired. Let it be known right here. I am retired.
No, you're not. No, you're effing not. Now, speaking of wrestling, I'm going to go ahead and take this in a different direction. We're 23 after the hour on the Saturday Showcase. The Shooters Gallery is open for our friends in the Central Alabama area. I want to go and throw this one out. Tonight, Pell City, Alabama Global Championship Wrestling returns to the Pell City Civic Center. 7th Annual Fan Fest will be tonight. Doors open at 7 o'clock. Bell time is 7:30 p.m. Tickets are only $10 each. A couple of storylines in play that I want to go and bring to the forefront. If you remember back a couple of months ago, the GCW World Heavyweight Champion, Mad Dog Dan Sawyer, as well as one half of the World Tag Team Champions, as part of the then PTB, Powers That Be,
rest in peace,
vacated both championships. So the heavyweight title is vacant. The tag team titles are vacant. We started situations back in September. Me and my 47 other personalities. I'm no longer commissioner. I already made that clear, but I'm speaking on behalf of Global on this promo. Yeah. There's that word for the day. Promo. Really want to say something else, but I'm not going to. The Brotherhood of O'Malley and O'Hagan advanced one step closer to the tag team tournaments, or to the tag team title tournament. Through the tournament is what I'm trying to say. And from there, they're actually going to be off this month. However, Maniac, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. There is a prior commitment in play because Josh O'Hagan, one half of the Brotherhood, is going to be in Mississippi tonight with Pro Wrestling Ego, competing in their Great Southern 8 tournament, which has got some great which has got some great talent in there also. I can cover that a little bit later. But I also want to go ahead and throw this one out there. Maniac O'Malley will be going one-on-one against AJ Steele. This match will have heavyweight championship implications. Winner will advance. In tag team action, the Circle of Disrespect, Francisco Chiazzo, and the Emerald Emperor, Simon Says, take on Andrew and Scott, the Aries brothers.
That will be a good match.
Yes, it will be. In singles action, the Archangel Gabriel will be taking on the Night Prowler. Oh.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
The Grand Design, Clyde Braddock, managed by the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, will be taking on Jack Gunn. Tommy Gage, the Rockstar, will be taking on the Complete Wrestling Machine Spiral. And the Mystic Mudbone will be taking on the Last Hero, Ace Haven, escorted to ring by, of course, Amy Haven. I am remiss in noting the fact that the Circle of Disrespect, of course, will be escorted to ringside by Theodore Tutwiler III, and AJ Steele will be escorted to ringside by the Wicked Nemesis as well. From there, Ladies Championship will be on the line. Stormy Lee will be challenging Calm Like a Bomb Pandora tonight in Pell City, Alabama. Once again, bell time is 7:30 p.m. Tickets are only $10 each. Also, thank you to everybody who's been giving all the great feedback all the way through social networking. I've been trying to get all the updates up there as well as I can. And there was a phone number coming in on my side of the board, which I don't recognize the number. They go to voicemail. Hi there. How you doing? Good to see you. Glad to meet you. For our friends in the northeastern U.S., here is your double bill. I want to go and throw this one at you right now. Flyers Skate Zone, 601 Laurel Oak Road in Voorhees, New Jersey. You have a double shot with CZW and Women's Superstars Uncensored. Combat Zone Wrestling and WSU in action on the double bill today. WSU kicks off at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and this is going to be an iPay-per-view. Combat Zone Wrestling kicks off at 8 p.m. tonight Eastern Time. Once again, also, streamczw.com, I believe is the website, but check out czwrestling.com. You've got such stars as Jessica Havoc, The Bulldozer, Matt Tremont, Pepper Parks, Allison Ray, Leva Bates, Solo Darling, the Dollhouse will be there, Mia Yim and Marty Bell. I miss, what is her name in TNA? I can never remember. I'm sorry. Mia's. I always screw that up. They're taking on Team Tremendous. Lufisto, the Ronin will be there. I can never remember how to pronounce it, but I believe it's Rich Cataloo. Antisocial, Hanaya the Howling Huntress will be there. From there, on the main Combat Zone card, Tremont takes on DJ Hyde, the owner of the Company in the Ring. Go figure that one out. Never saw that before in my life. Team Tremendous takes on the Hooligans.
Wow. Man, let the rock throwing begin. Good Lord. Shane, you okay over there?
Oh, I'm good. I mean, I've just been sitting waiting to say it is the Shooter's Gallery. I've got one in the chamber. I find it counterproductive that Miss Pam Anderson would be such a supporter of PETA when she's shown more fur than any celebrity I've ever seen.
Oh, boo.
Damn!
Oh.
Shots fired off.
Feel free to get that edit button out there, Fast Eddie.
Screw the edit button. It's going in there. There will be no post on this episode. Real quick, also tonight, Combat Zone, Joey Janela, Leo Rush, who just had a great outing with AWE this past weekend, Danny Havoc, AR Fox, Drew Gulak, Masada, Greg Excellent, Connor Claxton, Joe Gacy, Tim Donst. The Nation of Intoxication will be there. And let me go and throw this one out. I hope I got the answer. Yes, the Nation. You've never heard that one?
I've never heard that one. I mean, I'm familiar with AR Fox, but Nation of Intoxication.
The NOI, the Nation of Intoxication, yeah. That's they've actually been one of the long running factions up in the northeastern U.S. through AIW, through Combat Zone, Rockstar Pro. Speaking of Rockstar Pro, I want to give a very special thank you once again to the Rockstar Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Champion and also one half of the Tag Team Champions, Aaron Williams, for coming on board this past Tuesday for the Tuesday Night Conversation. Had a great time during the interview, and actually Aaron will also be on the Combat Zone Wrestling pay-per-view tonight out of Voorhees, New Jersey. So taking those into play, you got a lot of things going on, and thank you to everybody who tuned in this past Tuesday, and especially for making it out Wednesday night to Amped, the weekly outing from Rockstar Pro Wrestling. Shane, I'm going to put you on the spot because I know it's right around the corner. 1 week from tonight, Carrollton, Georgia.
That's right. Thanksgiving turmoil right around the corner, November 28th, Central Elementary School in Carrollton, one of Peach State's 4 signature events of the year, 1 week away.
Matter of fact, I do believe I have it in front of me, so I'll go and run this one down for you. In the main event, non-title, Jimmy Rave, the crown jewel of pro wrestling, will be taking on Tommy Too Much. Merico will be in his corner. Ladder match for the contract of Tyson Dean. If Tyson gets his contract, he is free from Al Getz. Tyson Dean takes on Sal Renaro in a dog collar match. Dusty McWilliams takes on Iceberg with Jeff G. Bailey. The No Limits title will be on the line. Kevin Blue, the new champion, defending against the former champion. Rematch is on. P-Dog, Mike Posey.
Huge fan of P-Dog. I love it.
The combination, hashtag trending now. The Last Hero, Ace Haven and Charles Zanders take on Donnie Primetime III, DP3, and Britt Jackson. And, by the way, forgot to mention, please forgive me, the hashtag trending now will be escorted to ringside by Amy Haven. Love you, mean it. From that vantage point, Simon Sermon, one-on-one with Shane Noles and the Wicked Nemesis in his corner. I heard at the recent outing, because I had the privilege of calling commentary for this, you made the comment that he could pick the stipulation. He made the comment, you could pick the stipulation. Has this been decided on yet, or is it still up in the air?
The ball is in Simon Sermon's court. Any match he wants, any stipulation he wants, because he's the one that's been throwing temper tantrums, not myself.
And you've not heard back from his rep?
That's not. I guess that will be decided. From what I hear, it will be actually once both of us are in the ring, he will make the declaration on the spot. So having conversed with Wick, we've got to be prepared for anything and everything.
Yep, that's very true.
I would be. You're talking about Simon Sermon. Yeah, wow.
You're talking
I don't know. I hats off to agree to that one, brother. Sorry.
And let me go ahead. Now, I'm going to go ahead and ask.
I just hope it's not a tuxedo match.
Well, Beyond Ringside, the whole family will be well represented in that match, obviously. And Eddie doing some commentary. I will be somewhere in the crowd pointing and laughing if it's a tuxedo match. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you.
Wait a minute. Wait. I have to do this. And you set it up.
No, I didn't mean to.
No, Shane did. You have to remember, this is Simon's sermon of which we speak. I wouldn't be surprised if it's an evening gown match.
That's what I'm saying. You let the man pick the stipulation. Wow. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Shane. I didn't mean to cut you off. It's your deal, brother.
Oh, no, I'm fully prepared to don makeup, an evening gown, a tuxedo, a dog collar, leather strap, whatever the case may be.
Sounds like Simon. It sounds like.
And as I check the internet, Simon's sermon is lighting up the Beyond Ringside chat room. Just joking.
I was about to say, Shane, you mentioned all those objects. That sounds like a Simon sermon Saturday night. What the hell?
Yeah. I mean, good old-fashioned sit around the campfire at the sermon house right there.
Yeah,
I was going to say, that sounds like a Saturday night away from the squared circle.
Yeah, it does. Tell you what, let me go and run these real quick because there are some games already in progress that I want to go and that I want to tackle down real quick. Of course, we already made the reference. Did we make an official pick for Auburn versus Idaho? Cos?
Man, with everything Auburn's done to me this year, because we all know I'm an Auburn man, I'm going to pull for Auburn. I'm cheering for them, but I'm not going to go out on a limb for them this year. Sorry. Go Auburn. War Eagle, brother. That's all I can say. Not enthusiastically either.
Shane?
I will say Auburn wins, and I will follow it up with this. They better.
Yeah, there you go. They better.
With 5:03 left in the first quarter, North Carolina is leading Virginia Tech 7-0. I actually have Virginia Tech. I've called Virginia Tech on this game, even though North Carolina, number 17 ranked team in the country. Sometimes emotion can overcome everything, and sometimes emotion makes you fall a little bit short. With this being Beamer's last game at home before the retirement, you know the Tar Heels, they love to spoil every moment humanly possible. So it's like, but I'm still going to sit back and say I think Virginia Tech finds a way to win. Shane, you want to hit that one?
I agree with Virginia Tech and on the win there. And I saw one of the most asinine articles I've ever seen Sports Illustrated put up. They were talking about North Carolina. With the momentum the football team was building, they were challenging the men's basketball team for attention on campus. And I was like, are you kidding me? I'm not at Tobacco Road, but I would dare say the North Carolina football team's not challenging the girls' basketball team or the soccer team for attention on campus.
They would need to be in the top 10 to try to challenge for that attention. Kaz, any thoughts?
Zero, none, don't care.
Then go ahead and go ahead and smoke a salmon real quick, and we'll be right back to you after this round. From there, let me see. Number 5, Iowa versus Purdue. I'm kind of iffy on that, but I am taking Iowa straight up. Shane?
Yeah, I like the Hawkeyes. It's an interesting another point. Kirk Herbstreit brought up this week. He said for the people in Iowa that are complaining about their positioning in the polls right now, he is of the firm belief that if they win out, they have nothing to worry about. I'm not so sure on that. I'm going to get your thoughts on that. Where they are now, if they win out, that would include a win over, per se, Ohio State in the Big Ten title game. But could you see an unbeaten Iowa actually getting left out? Because I can.
I can, but I don't want to because I think it should be the best teams in the country. And do I think Ohio State's one of the best teams in the country right now? No. But by the same token, they are the defending national champion. They are undefeated. Therefore, they're going to get a little bit more consideration.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I could totally see a scenario with Clemson, Alabama, Notre Dame, and perhaps an Oklahoma or an Oklahoma State. I really could. I just, the way they see it, I don't think anybody outside of the Michigan State, Ohio State, if you're from the Big Ten, I just don't see them putting you in. And that's totally unfair. I'm like you. It should be the 4 best teams.
Right. It should be. I keep asking myself, is Alabama genuinely the best one-loss team in the country? Defensively, yes. Offensively, no. I mean, I'm honest about it.
I agree with that assessment. I really do.
Their offense is good. Derrick Henry is a phenom waiting to break loose that much more. We've still got some others that are in the next man up. That's the way it's looking right now. And when Saban said that the first time, it's like, well, that's a calculated way of saying, well, actually, he's right. But a sleeper game for me today is Georgia Tech at Miami. Miami going through tribulation after tribulation, the dismantling of the once almighty U, and Georgia Tech, the Yellow Jackets have had some beautiful moments this year, and there's my favorite word again. I'm taking Georgia Tech on the road at the U, and that hurts to say, but even though I like both teams, Shane?
I will take the U slightly. And bringing up that, I just can't believe people are considering Charlie Strong for the position at Miami. I mean, what's he done at Texas? And don't tell me he can't recruit at Texas.
Game that's going on a little bit late. I just realized who they were playing. I saw number 14 Florida State. I'm going, okay, they got Chattanooga? I'm sorry. No disrespect intended to Chattanooga. If Florida State doesn't win this game, thank God. And that really hurts me because Florida State's one of my big four. Period. I mean, I genuinely have all the way back to the beginning of to when I first started watching during the Bowden run years ago. Of course, I was one of the ones that was sitting back going, Alabama had a chance to get Bobby Bowden as head coach, and imagine if they'd have got him when they had the chance. Damn. From there, Ole Miss LSU, number 22, hosting number 15, Shane?
I would have to think LSU bounces back and gets this W. If not, I think the noise that's already being made about Les Miles has to win out to keep his job, which I think is a tad bit on the ludicrous side, but I think you see LSU come out with this one. I don't trust Ole Miss.
I think, it's going to be a case of which team shows up for this one due to the simple fact that LSU, ever since the Bama game, has just been on a collapse. Can they get it back together and take out Ole Miss, which, of course, a lot of Alabama fans are saying, please? It really kind of leaves me in a quandary because, I like Ole Miss, except when we're playing them. And I'm just normally not a fan of LSU, but I'm going to go ahead and sit back and say I think the Bengal Tigers find a way to win today. On the road, which is kind of difficult to win when you're in Ole Miss's backyard. Clemson, Wake Forest, I think that should be a runaway. Shane?
Should be. Take the over, take Clemson every week.
And, really. And right now the sleeper, which really isn't a sleeper, is just kind of like a huge hanging question mark. Number 24 USC on the road to number 23 Oregon. When's the last time you thought you'd say those numbers in front of those two teams? Personally, Oregon's been up and down a lot. I'm just really at a vantage. I'm really sticking back going, I think that they can put things together, injuries and everything else in play. I really want to take Oregon at home, and matter of fact, that's what I'm going to do. Shane?
Same here. I think it was kind of funny to see the roles reversed. How many years did it seem like Stanford took Oregon out of the national title picture, and Oregon did that very thing last week to them? I'll take the Ducks.
Two other quick ones. Baylor on the road at Oklahoma State. I'm going to go ahead and say Oklahoma State hands Baylor another L. Shane?
I'm right there with you. I'm on board with Oklahoma State. Their defense is suspect. My gosh, they can score. I mean, they're certainly not afraid of what Baylor can put up on offense.
Primetime game this evening, number 18, TCU on the road at number 7, Oklahoma. Upset Central today. I'm taking TCU in the upset over Oklahoma in Norman. Shane?
I want to take that one, but begrudgingly, like how I picked Ohio State, I would take Oklahoma. I think it's set up for Oklahoma State with a possibility of a winner of that getting into the playoff.
Quick rundown. Let's run them top to bottom for tomorrow. Also, from there, starting with the early games, Raiders on the road to the Lions. Do the Raiders want to win more than Detroit wants to find a way to lose? I'm taking the Raiders on the road. Shane?
Same here. Raiders lost to Pittsburgh on the road, lost to a very good Vikings team last week, and now Detroit won for the first time in Green Bay since Michael Jackson's Black or White album. Number one on the Billboard chart. So it's going to be classic Detroit at 2-7. Come back, probably get it handed to them at home.
Like I said, I think Oakland, if everybody's healthy and everybody's playing, I think that they're going to find a way to win on the road, which is a beautiful thing. And I'm not a Detroit hater, but by the same token, I do appreciate the Raiders, and I just hope they can keep things going properly. Indianapolis on the road at Atlanta. I'm taking the Birds at home, even though my gut says there's luck on somebody's shoulder. Shane?
I want to take the Falcons. Both teams coming off a bye. I would surely think the Falcons recoup, especially with the backup quarterback for the Colts.
Jets at Houston. I'm saying Houston at home.
My question in that, who's the backup quarterback? They released Ryan Mallett. They're saying Brian Hoyer is not going to start due to memory loss, which I could make the joke. I think we'd all like to forget his time under center.
Really?
TJ Yates will be the starter. And that feels like the Texans. I think the way they went into Cincinnati and didn't even give up a touchdown to an unbeaten team on Monday Night Football, I think Texans slightly.
This just in, and Cosm will steal the exclusive out from under you. The second string quarterback has been named. The effect, Stuart Couch has been activated by the team, and he will be the backup quarterback of this week's game.
If they're letting Couch quarterback, it's over. It's done. Whoever's dumb enough to do that deserves to lose. I'm going to tell you right now. Hey, Eddie, check the BR chat when you get a chance.
Okay. Go ahead. Cos, go ahead.
I'm just reading. It's breaking news. The hacker group Anonymous has posted some stuff they've uncovered. They've kind of been back and forth with ISIS, but FBI is taking it serious that ISIS has made a threat on Survivor Series tomorrow night.
Really?
Yeah. So, that's what it just hit on the book here, like 30 minutes ago. But it's from a credible news site. Big, that's huge, man. We live in a hard time, brother.
Oh, well, Georgia, the shows tomorrow night might be on hold because I will probably be over backing up the Atlanta Police Department. I will go ahead and pull out a badge and carry a Glock 19, and I will stand side by side with my friends over in Atlanta, Georgia, and if they want to do something stupid, guess what?
Bring it, brother.
You don't want to play with the South when it comes to threats like that because A, we'll take it seriously, and B, a lot of us are packing.
Guaranteed, man. People like to make tracks about it. I mean, dude, everybody makes fun of me, man. I got spikes on my shoelaces. I picked up the Sawyer habit. I carry my backpack everywhere.
Yeah.
And trust me, my backpack, I've got the extendable baton right there and my stun gun flashlight. And it's wintertime, brother. I got a 40 up under my jacket. I'm just telling you.
It's kind of like
It's been rumored that Cos keeps a cat of nine tails in the glove compartment, too.
Yeah, I do, but I save that for special occasions.
What's her...
Don't ever set me up like that. I'll take it straight to the gutter.
I can't use the one-liner that I want to because of current circumstances. Damn it.
Yeah, hold off on that, please. Because if we're talking about my circumstances,
yes.
Please stand on the brakes, sir. Please stand on them.
Pressing hold button. Denver on the road at the Bears tomorrow. Does anybody care? Yes, I do. Denver wins on the road. Shane?
Ooh, taking Denver on the road. I like the Bears for a couple of reasons. I think this will be a John Fox FU game to Denver. His former, where he coached last year for years previous. The way offensive coordinator Adam Gase, who knew he could put this kind of play out of Jake Bell?
Dallas on the road at Miami. Romo's supposed to be back. Miami's had their ups and downs, but yeah, I know. Wow, is Romo really the Romessiah? But I'm gonna go hashtag that word so I can claim ownership of it. Romessiah. ROMOSSIAH. Okay, we're good with that.
I tried to trademark Romosexual about 5 years.
That's funny. That's blooming funny.
Yeah, I just fell out laughing over here. I had the mic muted. That's awesome. I love that.
That's effing funny. I don't know. That's a pick 'em in my book. It really is. Shane, who are you taking?
Yeah, as of yesterday, I think it was a pick 'em in Vegas as well. I mean, I think Romo, surely he would have some rust being out 8 weeks. I just don't think Dallas is going to come back. I started to say all guns a-blazing, but Greg Hardy is on that team. I don't think they come out clicking on all cylinders. The Dolphins at home, that's my team. That's Wick's team. They 7 of the first 9 games were on the road. Now 5 of the last 7 at home, and crazy things happen. They're actually in the race for a wild card in the AFC. I think they beat Dallas.
Right now, Dallas is a 1-point favorite.
Ooh.
Over-under's 46. In my book, if you got a 1-point margin, it's a pick'em in my book. But still, I'm just going to go ahead and sit back and say this. If you're calling Miami a dog at home in this circumstance, I'll take the dog at home. And normally I reserve that for Monday nights, but by the same token, Carolina hosting Washington, I see no problem with Carolina winning again. Shane?
Upset bird of the week. I'm calling this one right here. I say the Redskins actually come in. They have decent defense. Kirk Cousins completing 72% of his passes over the last 3 weeks. I think the time is right to get Carolina this week. They got to drop one.
Yeah, but to Washington? Ugh.
Realize if the Redskins win, somehow they would be in first place in the NFC East.
And we'll get another video clip of Kirk Cousins going, "You like that? You like that? Okay.
You like that?"
Special tribute to Andrew McLovin Perloff from the Dan Patrick Show.
Oh, it'd be funny, with everybody, the controversy over Cam Newton's end zone dance, if Kirk Cousins ran one in, ran right up to Cam and asked if you like that.
That'd be funny as hell. I really don't see another game on the docket other than Green Bay and Minnesota. Green Bay on the road at Minnesota that's grabbing my attention at this point. I'm actually going to go ahead and say the Packers on the road this week. They find a way to get it back together.
4 in a row. I agree.
I didn't think they'd lose 3 in a row.
The other game is the Sunday night game with Cincinnati at Arizona. Did the Bengals lose 2 games in a row after an 8-0 start? Because the Cardinals, to me, they look like they are on a collision course with Carolina in the NFC at some point deep in the playoffs.
Right. I think Cincinnati finds a way to win this one. Of course, by the same token, I also said the same thing about Tennessee this past Thursday night as they lost it in Jacksonville. I didn't really see that loss occurring, but remembering the fact this is 2 in a row that Jacksonville has beaten Tennessee in that regard. And I'm trying to remember, what is the Thanksgiving? I'm not even going to worry about Thanksgiving yet. I may do that on Tuesday.
I was going to say, why do they keep treating us, and I say that sarcastically, why do they keep treating us every year to a Thursday night game with Tennessee Jacksonville?
Ew. Well, Jacksonville did win, and Tennessee actually has not been doing horribly. If you look at the
I know both teams have to appear, as all teams do in the NFL, at least one Thursday night game. But they don't have to play each other.
Yeah, I know. It kind of sucks. It's kind of like back in the day when you could put on a high school game and sometimes it would look better. But by the same token, you could actually put on the lingerie football league and it would look better and get causes attention for the segment, right?
Yeah, it would always look better.
Yeah, I'm unmuting the microphone. I'm sorry. I'm going back to my producer days. I'm scanning the news for stuff to talk about. Yeah, you got my attention right there. I heard you.
Yeah, I'm actually kickoff countdown 140 days, and yes, I'm at LFL.US. So the lingerie football league will be returning this year.
Bring it, man. I got a great lingerie store down by the house. I'm not saying for you to bring it. I'm just saying, there's a couple of girls in the neighborhood that aren't bad looking.
There you go. No, but seriously, I've actually been paying attention to LFL for a couple of years. I just forgot what time of year they actually play in. And of course, yes, I'm picking to speak about LFL rather than Arena League football, but that's an entirely different animal. Does Birmingham have an Arena League? No, I don't think we have one of those anymore.
I think we tried it. It didn't work. Maybe we should try the lingerie. I'd buy a ticket for that.
Do you think, okay, in our home market of Birmingham, Alabama, to which we sit back and gently, kindly, and humbly extend our middle finger to all 4 surrounding states, because you have everything from pro football, pro baseball, pro basketball, some of you even have hockey when you don't run the teams out of town, Atlanta.
I know where you're going here. That's on Birmingham. That's not on everybody else. That's on Birmingham. The people here don't support it for whatever reason.
No, and think about this.
By the way, Atlanta's ran 2 hockey franchises up.
I knew about the Knights leaving years ago, but I knew about the recent departure as well. Was there another one?
Yeah, the Flames. They were the Atlanta Flames in Calgary in the early 80s.
I remember that. Okay,
there's a joke in that, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
And the Knights. I can tell you exactly why the Knights did not survive in Atlanta. That's blatantly obvious.
Yeah, pretty much.
Somewhere Simon Sermon's got an old Flames jersey.
I guarantee it. Big fan.
I mean, if he wants a hockey match next Saturday, we can break out the stick in the pub.
Careful. The words can be twisted, sir.
Yes, they can. And then, of course, by the same token, I remember the character the Goon in the World Wrestling Federation.
Mm-hmm.
Wild Bill Irwin. Wasn't that Bill Irwin?
Was it?
Yep.
Wild Bill.
Big Wild. Okay, it's really kind of poor of me to make the Wild Bill Irwin bullwhip reference right now. In poor taste. I apologize.
I don't care. It's funny.
I'm just going to say, guaranteed the only program in America that just used Atlanta Flames NHL and Wild Bill Irwin in the same reference.
Yes.
I dare somebody else to take up that challenge. I dare them.
You know Wick will do it just for fun.
I know. Look forward to hearing it also.
And you know Mabo will take that and turn a poop reference into it also.
I don't want to know what he's going to do with it. It scares me.
There's gonna be a guinea pig or a poop reference if Mabo runs with it.
Trust me, Mabo's bullwhipping the guinea pig right now. You know?
Oh, let me make a reference since you talked about the Goon, those mid-'90s WWF gimmicks.
Yes.
I was at a show one time where Tracy Smothers signing autographs, and somebody brought up a picture of him as Freddie Joe Floyd and said, "Can you sign this?" And Tracy slowly looked up at him and said, "Swear to God," he said, "Why?" And it wasn't a "Why do you want me to sign this?" He's like, "Why do you have it? Why does this exist?"
Hey, look.
That's a good question.
I call it, honestly, okay, here's me talking. This is just a straight shoot for a second. This is legit. If there was a character such as that, in which there was, I remember it so well, it would have to be one hell of a fan of that individual, i.e. Tracy Smothers, to where you would hold on to that picture. And I would consider it to be a huge show of respect that the person actually thought enough of Tracy to hold on to the Freddie Joe Floyd picture. I mean,
I agree. It's like going to Tony Anthony and saying, "Can you sign this T.L. Hopper 8x10?
Yeah, exactly.
I forgot about T.L. Hopper.
So did I, actually, till just now.
Wow.
Damn.
I forgot all about that.
Funny.
Good call, Shane. Good call.
Thank you. That was a good time for gimmicks, right? With Manitar and the Goon and T.L. Hopper. And remember when the Brooklyn Brawler was Abe Knuckleball Schwartz?
Yeah.
Yes, Duke the Dumpster Drosy. Let's not throw out an all-time classic here.
God, why not just go and add the Repo Man to that?
Oh, Duke the Dumpster Drosy. I mean, your entrance music is of a garbage truck backing up with the beeping sound.
Yes, I know.
Yes. You know that I hate to do this, Eddie, and you're probably going to kill my mic at this point. That's the perfect entrance music for the Critters.
It would be.
Oh, God, somebody punch me. I need punched in the mouth for that.
Why is Duke the Dumpster Drosy never wound up on Trash Bag Wrestlers?
I don't know, because the Critters actually have been on Trash Bag Wrestlers. I have no idea, because he should be.
You know, and here's the funny part about it, because we talk about some incredibly bad gimmicks that have been done over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And if it wasn't... Yeah, I mean, really... And I really can't pick on this one in particular, this personality, because it wasn't that outlandish, but it just never really did set and make sense with me. Aldo Montoya, the Man of War.
Yeah, that was Just Incredible. Was that correct?
Yeah, it was Just Incredible, and it was a horrible gimmick. Sorry.
Well, I mean, if you go during that time period, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Bastion Booger.
Yeah.
Yes, I love. Now, I will say I liked Bastion Booger because I mean, his entrance music had a fart in it. Come on, that's hilarious.
And then,
and how many references could you make to Bobby Heenan in the Royal Rumble when it comes to Booger? That's who I'm going to pick to win this.
Exactly.
I love
Exactly.
Heenan.
And then, of course, you have to go with what was it, the mental ward Norman from WCW.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, Norman the Lunatic.
Yeah,
yes,
that was Booger when he had long hair. Right?
Yes, I think it was.
Was a Booger with
hair?
It
was.
Yeah,
it's a hairy booger.
Don't forget about Henry O. Godwin with the pig call. I mean, somewhere Hillbilly Jim was slapping his forehead at that.
No,
and let us all. And I hear the effect is somewhere. Stuart Couch is right now screaming this. Let's not forget, as much as we love Sting and the Scorpion Death Drop, it's a slop drop originally.
Yes, it is.
Oh, thank you. And who could forget Dan Spivey bringing this conversation full circle? Not the skyscrapers, Waylon Mercy.
Yes, Waylon Mercy, which, again, I didn't have a huge problem with it. Horrible gimmick. It didn't go over well. But to me, that was up there almost as funny as the Honky Tonk Man. Just people never caught the joke.
Oh, one that cracks me up that he actually got a Hasbro figure, Skinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, there's two others that we have to bring into play, and I can never remember the name of it. When Barry Windham was the camouflaged guy.
Oh crap! What was it? Because
I can't remember. I remember him as the Widowmaker.
Yeah, he was the Widowmaker, but that was the Barry Windham gimmick. But he was the Stalker. That's what it was.
The Stalker. That's right.
And then, of course, let's take it completely full circle. Because how can you mention Glenn Jacobs and Kane without mentioning Dr. Isaac Yankem?
Jerry the King Lawler's personal dentist.
Right after the Kiss My Foot match with Bret the Hitman Hart.
Yeah, because they built like 6 weeks of the King not washing his feet. They built that every week on Raw. It was horrible.
Yeah, it was the Stalker. It was 1996 when Wyndham returned to the WWF. He just basically called himself the Stalker.
Yeah, that was it. It was a horrible gimmick. And Barry Windham, one of the most underrated talents. I mean, seriously, he's been world champion one time, should have been multi-time world champion.
And his tag team partner, Mike Rotunda, IRS. Boy, did he make that gimmick work.
He did.
Dude, to the character.
That stuck like a bullseye. That was a genuine bullseye. That one stuck.
It did, and I still to this day don't understand how, other than his hard work, because the gimmick itself sucked. But he was such a tremendous wrestler, but he was such a tremendous personality and talent all the way around.
All-American from the University of Syracuse. I remember that.
Yeah, I popped for his finisher being called the write-off.
Oh, I forgot all about that.
I didn't forget that. And of course, we know that it runs in the family because his talent is passed down through heredity.
Yeah, but look at it. Now, I'm in the minority with Bo Dallas. I love the Bo League.
Oh, but the kid can work.
I love it.
But the kid can work.
He can. Bray can also, but my gosh, how can they not? I mean, Rotunda is only half the genetics. You got to remember, he's married to Wyndham's sister.
Yeah.
So, I mean, come on, man. You've got...
I want to bring this up. I think the most terrible gimmick to me, knowing where the guy had been and how he had already been pushed in the World Wrestling Federation, was when Tony Atlas was brought in as Samba Simba.
Yep.
Wow.
Why couldn't he just be Tony Atlas? I mean, he was a former tag team champion. He's a Hall of Famer now. Why did you saddle him with that gimmick?
Why did they turn around and make Bob Backlund a card-carrying raving lunatic?
I had no problem with Mr. Backlund. I like Mr. Backlund. Makes a lot of sense.
Dude, when I first started really watching wrestling, Backlund was the WWF champion.
Well, yeah. Back in the days of Methuselah, he was.
Yeah, I know.
mean, he was champion seriously for 7 years?
About 6 years, because remember, Bruno had it 7. Backlund had it just over over 5. Because I will still never.
And that was one of the weirdest WWF title changes in the mid-90s when he was the WWF champion and dropped it to Diesel so quick on the house show. But I was like, Bob Backlund now? Really? I mean, that was impressive.
I think that was just WWE reaching to reinvent themselves, because what the 80s had worn off. You're in the mid-90s. It was not working. I think it was a reach for them to reinvent themselves. But I personally enjoyed the Mr. Backlund character. And I like Backlund now. I mean, look at it. Backlund's old school. If you ask Backlund for an autograph right now, name the presidents. He expects you to be educated. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a college education to name the presidents. Just study. Do a little work.
It is. You know? It really is.
I respect that.
Folks, we're at the top of the noon hour in the Central Time Zone, 1 minute after 10 on the West Coast. I'm going to go ahead and take it full circle, and I know there's a bunch of stuff that we wanted to talk about today, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you what, I'll give everybody the open mic and the open run for the next couple of minutes. Shane Noles, last call. Have at it.
Last call tomorrow is the final race of the Sprint Cup Series. We're down to a final 4. Eddie, I will say this. I root for Chaos. Even though I have been on the Jeff Gordon train, I think it would be poetic for him to go out a winner in his final race. A part of me just wants to see Martin Truex Jr. as a champion just for chaos and head-scratching.
There are 3 people I'm calling the keys to right now. Jeff Gordon will finish second to Carl Edwards tomorrow.
Ugh.
Carl Edwards has a good run at that track. Gordon's car is doing pretty well. And I will bring this up. The starting lineup for the Ford EcoBoost 500 at Homestead Raceway in Miami, Florida. Hamlin and Logano. In other words, Denny and the Princess. Row 1. Kyle Busch.
One more time.
There you go. Denny and the Princess. Sounds like a really bad Fox sitcom. Row 2, Kyle Busch, Ryan Newman. Row 3, Jeff Gordon, Ryan Blaney. Row 4, Carl Edwards and Brad Keselowski. Shut up. Row 5.
Sorry, I was thinking we said bad sitcom. I was thinking off of Fox, Joey in the middle.
There you go.
Connotation.
That'd be Keselowski around there somewhere. Row 5, Earnhardt Jr. and Austin Dillon. Martin Truex Jr. is starting 11th. Six Time is starting 12th. Kevin Harvick, the defending champion, is starting 13th. Wow. But I'm looking for a great race tomorrow, and knowing the fact that the Princess and the Duchess are not in title contention, I will watch the race.
Where was Gordon starting position again?
Jeff Gordon starting 5th.
5th. So that's crazy. He was 30th on the first speed charts, and there was a quick, rage of chaos. Like, whoa, does he not have a good car? And there he is qualifying the upper half.
Now, I'm going to sit back and say I'm glad that Matt Kenseth will be running tomorrow. I think that 2 races was too many. I think 1 would have been enough. I understand the point that NASCAR feels that they had to try to make, but by the same token, to the Penske daughters, I'm sorry. Roger, I have a world of respect for you as a car owner, but the Princess and the Duchess need to get the hell out of auto racing. I'm okay with storyline drama. I'm okay with rivalries. I love rivalries. But when you got 2 reckless tick turds behind the wheel, tick turd flashback tribute Jackie Gleason, Smokey the Bandit. I'm sorry.
Wow, Jackie Gleason and Johnny Carson in this program.
There you go. It's kind of like
millennials. Sorry.
That makes for a great show right there.
Look, I'm going to say this. Song of the Year a few years ago when this song came out should have been Shake Your Tail Feather by Nelly, P. Diddy, and Murphy Lee. I don't care what anybody says, because if you can get the reference to the Rat Pack, to Voltron, and to the Thundercats in a 4-minute and 35-second song, you deserve a Grammy for Song of the Year.
What in the hell is this world coming to when we go from Jackie Gleason to P. Diddy and Nelly?
The song, because they got the reference to the Rat Pack in there.
Yep.
I hope it was respectful. I don't listen to music.
It was okay. No, it was actually a good song. It didn't suck. I really enjoy the song still to this day. And
okay, because hanging in the studio right now is a giant picture of the Rat Pack playing pool. So I'm a huge fan of Dean and Frank.
You forget I'm a huge fan of the Rat Pack as well.
All right,
I would never do anything to denigrate the legacy of the Rat Pack. You know that.
Yeah, I hope not.
I ain't that stupid. And I respect tradition.
It's almost sacrilege to desecrate on the Rat Pack there, man.
There you go.
Are we talking about the Joey Bishop, Dean Martin guys, or the group of girls that used to go around the territory?
Okay, Shane, we're fighting. Next time I see you, it's on, brother. It's on. You just started one right there.
Well, there's 2 different Rat Packs, and one I respect and one I wish I didn't.
Okay, we totally agree then. Okay.
No, wait a minute.
We're all good now.
I think it's one you respect, one you inspect.
You waited the whole show for that soundbite, didn't you?
Yes, with all the negativity in the world, I, like Charlie Sheen, would try to stay positive.
Oh! Wow, we almost made it the whole show without talking about Sheen, and I almost did it when we referenced Jenny McCarthy earlier, and I held back.
Well, I was going to say, when I brought up Rat Pack, I felt like my brain just went to the star of Hot Shots.
Oh.
Damn.
You can see the influence of the Wicked Nemesis coming through. I wasn't like that a few weeks ago on the programs.
Yeah, you spent a little too much time with him, I'm going to tell you.
To which I will come back and say we're mentioning Charlie Sheen and Wicked Nemesis in the same minute.
You can never have enough nerds, freaks, and weirdos, you know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry I had to do that one.
I just wish, looking back on it, I wish he had somebody monitor the Tiger Blood.
Say that one more time.
I blinked. I'm over here in silence. I'm saying nothing.
So he's not going to say it again, so I'll do this one.
That was a holy bleep moment. I'm with the people here tonight at Final Resolution. That was
a holy bleep moment. We got Mike Tenay thrown in this deal now. Jeez. We're officially off the rails, gentlemen.
No, well, as far as going off the rails, I have to do this one just for sheer fun. You know, I don't know what the hell I was about to say. So, James Storm, take it away.
So you had all day long to sit back there and think of a promo, and that's the only crap you could come up with?
Robert Cosper, last call. It's all you, buddy.
Why you got to throw it to me after that?
Well, I could do this one.
We drink too. We drink too.
So what are you trying
My
to say?
My apologies, Cos. It's hard to follow a last call that involves the NASCAR Sprint Cup, the Rat Pack, Charlie Sheen.
It is. You put me in a bad spot, Shane. You put me in a bad spot.
I could make it worse with one more soundbite.
But of course you will.
Is this supposed to be plugged into anything?
That's the best soundbite of all. That one, I was there that day.
I know it was in your studio.
It was in my studio. Yeah. See, everybody laughs at the soundbite. I had to look at him holding the wire. Was this supposed to be plugged into anything?
To which I still sit back and say, love you, miss you, brother. Okay, now, Kaz, last call.
I have none. I give up. I can't follow this. Last call. Some of the worst words in the English vocabulary, I might add. I don't know that I have one. I'll try to bring up one talking point. TNA has signed a new TV deal.
Yes.
Pop TV, formerly the television, the TV Guide channel, that's tried to go into TV. All right, what do you guys think? Does this work or does this not work?
Shane, you first.
Last chance for TNA. Can they make it work? Lost most of their talent, I might add.
Shane?
That's news to me. They've signed on the Pop Network. Is that correct?
Yes,
that is correct.
That is the same channel that currently carries Paragon Pro Wrestling.
Well, I was going to say Pop Network, if I'm not mistaken. They also replay that day's episode of Days of Our Lives. So what better way than put the male soap opera on the same network?
Can it fly? Can TNA make it work? Have they learned any lessons, or is this just another chapter in the slow, painful death, or do we regroup?
I think it's a regrouping, cutting in for a hot second, because Pop TV actually has, here's this word, penetration of 75 million homes. Whereas Destination America does not have that type of penetration. They don't go nearly as deep as Pop TV does.
Boy, you're just determined to take this to the gutter today, aren't you?
Hey, it's my turn.
I'm sorry I brought up Charlie Sheen, because I guarantee you he would not have used penetration for that word.
I would have found a way to slide it in somewhere.
He didn't use protection. Two different
He just said
there.
I'd find a way to slide it in.
Yes, he did.
Oh, my Lord. All right. How the hell do you make this professional again? I mean, come on.
Just go with it. Have fun.
I'm trying. I give up.
No,
TNA needs some... seriously, they need some writing. They need some creativity. They need to rebuild.
Oh, shit.
I thought everybody just shut up and hold your comments because I see where it's going. All right. They've lost their talent for the most part. You know? People have defected. I'm not going to say defected. I was about to say that. But they've gone other places. To me, Eric Young's your talent you build it around. And honestly, I think Eric Young could do something. He reminds me of a Memphis Macho right now with what he's got going.
Cool.
And I think he could do a lot with that. I think Destination America was on the right track with doing a wrestling night in America, basically, with Ring of Honor and TNA. And again, you got to ask the question, where's Jarrett in this? Where's Global Force? I'm a big fan of doing interpromotional deals, and I think it would work. I think it would work for Global Force and TNA right now. I think it really would. Thoughts, perhaps statements.
Shane,
I just wonder if it would behoove them to turn Ethan Carter III babyface. A guy with that look and that kind of charisma as a babyface could be slightly their breakout star.
Perhaps. And honestly, I think he is as a heel even. I love him as a heel. But, yeah, you're right. He has the look. Exactly. Could have been a tremendous babyface. And people would get behind it, I think.
I think he's on that verge anyway, because his last few appearances, he hasn't gotten nearly the boos. He's gotten a more positive and warm reaction from the crowd than anything else. But I don't know if that has anything to do with the fact that you've got a lot of people that still just are not Matt Hardy fans.
Good point.
And look, with all due respect, I have a world of respect for everything that the Hardys have done in pro wrestling. All the way across the board, from Omega to the E to the ROH to TNA to the different independent shows, and there's that damn word. I said it. Screw it. And I can't beat it. I'll come back and join it for a few more weeks till I get more momentum again. And I just, look, Jeff Hardy to me is world champion material to a degree. He does not cut the promos that a champion should, and they never give him a good enough manager to do that for him. But I honestly, Matt, to me, because of the fact that he keeps himself unkept most of the time, is not a world champion. I'm sorry. I'm popping on this one for a hot second, and I don't mean in a good way. A champion. A world champion. The franchise of your company should have a look that commands respect. Not something that looks like they should be given $1 on the street corner. Like I said, talent-wise, Matt Hardy is phenomenal. But you never see, when he's holding any of the belts that he's held, anything that makes him look remotely professional. Remember, the words involved in this sport are professional wrestling. All right, I'm out of the way. Somebody take it.
Yeah, well, Eddie, you parlayed into something I wanted to mention before we go, the passing of Nick Bockwinkel.
Yes.
And when you bring up looking like a champion, a professional wrestler, I've been thinking about Bockwinkel the last few days, watching some old promos and such, and I really wonder if there was actually ever a better world champion. And the reason I say that is Bret Hart, Ric Flair, they have their detractors who say they wrestled the same match no matter who they were in there with. They made them look good, but it was the same formulaic match. Whereas Nick Bockwinkel, a match with a Jerry Lawler or a Kurt Hennig was completely different than how he worked a Crusher or a Hulk Hogan, but still made those guys look good. And man, with Bobby Heenan, I just don't know if there was ever a better pairing. But you brought that up with Matt Hardy. I mean, Nick Bockwinkel carried himself with class and elegance, and a true world champion. He will be missed. Happy trails to Nick Bockwinkel.
Yeah, amen on that one, brother.
As my friends in uniform would say, my brother, we'll see you in Valhalla. I've got a couple that I want to hit on real quick. Of course, I made the reference to today being the end of the home finale for Frank Beamer at VT. Dallas Page, okay, by the way, Shane, when I made the reference to the fact where I could actually see your thumbs up come through this morning, I would like to thank my associates and affiliates here in Studio One and Full Range Entertainment for the brand new iPhone 6S, to which Cosper came back and said, "Welcome to adulthood."
Yes, I'm glad you finally have a grown-up toy.
There you go.
Welcome to almost 16 years into the 21st century.
There you go. There you go. So I was, like I said, but from there I was testing out some things on the phone this morning when I first got home from Buffalo Wild Wings, to which I say thank you to everybody, but I'll save that for shameless plugs. And their WWE Network gimmick show called Beyond the Ring. Assholes.
What?
Assholes.
Wow.
Dude, it's been up there for a while. They have their show on the network. It's called Beyond the Ring. Oh, I've known about this ever since it first came out because people started texting me about it. It's like, yeah, I know. Leave me alone.
Didn't they do it behind the curtain also?
Yeah, they did.
I swear I'm going to start.
They should just do one called Near the Gorilla Position.
Well.
Thank you, Zeb Coulter. Uncle Dutch. Love you, man. Dallas Page was actually, I love the line, by the way, Shane.
Don't even get me on Dutch right now. Zeb Coulter. Don't even get me wound up.
Oh, speaking of stealing ideas, they got your crown jewel, dude.
Dude. I'm going to start sending people a freaking bill.
Invoice the hell out of them.
Who leaked that one? It's on. because that's straight out of my freaking notebook.
It is. It really is. And I'll go ahead and shoot on this one for a hot second. Shane, you're going to love this. Kaz and I will talk about different creative ideas, and one that Kaz was going to had presented to Dan.
Don't put the whole. Let's do this off air.
Okay.
They're missing one little touch, and it'll be on freaking Raw on Monday if you put that out there.
Well, they've already taken the MA title.
Yes, I know. It's missing one little fine-tuning touch. That's the only thing they're doing wrong. And if you put it out on air, it will be on Raw on Monday, and I will throw something through the TV.
And thank you to everybody from WWE who actually listens to our shows, especially Saturday Showcase and Back to Basics.
As JBL likes to say, there's a cause and effect for everything.
Yes, there is. We love you too, guys. We're going to send you an invoice. But on the network this morning, when I was sitting back testing it out, it's like Dallas Page was making the reference to the origin of the Diamond Cutter, and he actually gives John Laurinaitis credit for it because it was a move that Laurinaitis brought back from Japan. Well, it was in-ring training session where Laurinaitis, Page, Triple H was there back in WCW, John Paul Levesque, and some of the other guys. Well, Dallas went ahead and started running with the move and started working it into his matches. Well, lo and behold, he made a reference to the fact that he was watching Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, after about 3 months into Dallas using the move, turned around and popped the move as a finisher on television. And Dallas is like, oh God, no. He called Hunter. And he said, look, I was respectful the entire time. We were friends. I wanted us to stay friends, and I didn't want to handle this wrong. And he got Hunter on the phone, and he said, Hunter, I have a huge favor to ask you. And he said, Hunter responded with, sure, what do you need? And he said, that's the way Hunter always responded. I said, wait before you answer like that. He said, the move that you just popped on television, I've been running with down here for the last few months, and I'm really starting to build some momentum with it. You got the pedigree and some of the other stuff that you're running. Can I ask you to please hold off of that move? And Hunter came back and said, dude, that's no problem. Gotcha. And Hunter never used it again.
Well, and again, I have no problem with Hunter. A lot of people do. I don't. I think it's a class act. But keep in mind, the pedigree, when Dallas started doing the Diamond Cutter, that's when Dallas Page was like Booker T to me at that time. He got better every week.
Yeah.
And you got to see it progress. Honestly, the pedigree was not much different than Dallas's pancake, which, just form of the pile driver, form of the pedigree. Right. Dallas was using the pancake to start with before he evolved to the Diamond Cutter. And the pedigree was just a variation of the pancake, honestly. And pedigree's what got Hunter over anyway, so there you go.
Thankfully, DDP brought the Diamond Cutter to the mainstream, because if it was John Laurinaitis, we'd all be saying, oh, he hit him with the ace in the hole.
The dudes with attitudes.
Barf.
Boy, that one really kicks you a little below the belt when you realize that was Laurinaitis,
My name is Mr. John Laurinaitis. I can't help it if I sound like Al Bundy from Married with Children.
Hey, it wasn't the dudes with attitude. No, what were they?
It was dudes with attitude. No, Surfer Boys, yeah.
It was the Dynamic Dudes.
That's what it was. Dynamic Dudes.
Yeah, dudes with attitudes when they tried to put Sting, JYD, Orndorff, and Steiner Brothers, like that babyface, happy Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling faction.
Yeah, kind of anti-horseman.
That's it. Anti-horseman is what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I was thinking the Dynamic Dudes. The dude thing got me. You're exactly right. Dynamic Dudes.
Yeah. And I was making a reference to the Dallas Page thing because I'm glad to see that even back then, even though Hunter loved to carry his shovel, bury him, and he actually did the classic thing for Dallas and backed away from the move, which I thought was cool as hell. Part of my last call also, if you saw WSOF 25, the 8-man tournament that I was telling you about last week, you saw the fact that I have been on this bandwagon for World Series of Fighting on NBCSN for a reason. Congratulations to Brian Foster, who showed the fact that miracles do happen. They had an 8-man tournament last night on World Series of Fighting, and lo and behold, I actually remembered to take the replay. Thank God for remote control setup through my tablet. But I caught especially the fact that Brian Foster tapped out in the earlier round. But because of a situation that occurred with another fighter, the committee got together and the owner came back and said, look, his match went this long. He's cleared. Let's put him back in. Da-da-da-dum. And he turned around and faced the person who tapped him out in the first round. Came back, second round, knockout win over João Seferino. Excellent fight. I will sit back and I will tell you this. If you are a mixed martial arts fan, passing fan, or pure fan, go back and watch this show. It'll be available on WSOF.com and on NBCSN Live Extra. The app. Cross format. I can say that now. Coming soon. And this match between Foster and Zeffirino will have you popping out of your chair applauding because of the factor of the way these two fought each other, especially going into the through the first round into the second round. It was a great fight. I think that Foster, because of the fact that he got tapped so early because of a heel hook, the fact that he made the mental correction. This wasn't a training thing that he managed to do between rounds. This was a mental correction that he did. Now, he's going to be fighting Justin Gaethje a little bit later on, and they're talking about early spring for that title defense of the lightweight title. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And like I said, folks, anytime if you have NBCSN, NBC Sports Network, and you get a chance to watch the World Series of Fighting, WSOF.com is the website. Check it out. You will enjoy it. Hats off to Ray Safo and everybody with World Series of Fighting. Once again, another great outing for WSOF 25. I'm trying to think. There was one other thing that I really wanted to hit for last call, and I'm going to go ahead and say I'll pick it up tomorrow for the predictions round. By the way, Shane, Cos, let me go ahead and throw these at you real quick, and I know we're running way over because I know we've all got different directions to run in. So let's go ahead and take this around the horn real quick. Predictions tomorrow for Survivor Series, Divas title match, Charlotte versus Paige. Cos?
I'm sorry, I got a group text going on over here with Effect and Remy. With Remy, and Remy's bought a freaking, it's like the nativity scene, but it's Star Wars.
Oh, crap.
He's going to burn, brother. He's going to burn. I'm going with Charlotte.
Shane?
I think Charlotte almost has the win based off the negative feedback to that angle Monday night.
Yeah, there's a lot of backlash on that one.
Brothers of Destruction versus two members of the Wyatt family. Shane?
Is it safe to say there's no more better foregone conclusion than Taker and Kane go over?
Cosper?
How do you argue with that? He's exactly right.
As the Brothers of Destruction, would they actually sacrifice themselves to put over the Wyatt family is the question. I say yes, they would. But as far as winning the match, yeah, give me the Brothers of Destruction, plain and simple. Heavyweight title tournament final four match. Dean Ambrose, Kevin Owens. Cos?
I'm going to go Owens. I will go Owens.
Shane?
I'm torn on this because I could actually see the company based the way they're going. I could see them putting the belt on Alberto Del Rio. But that would mean he would have to defeat Roman Reigns in the semifinals. I just don't think there's any way they don't have Reigns at the final, at least, to tease the idea that he would win the thing. So for semifinal both, I'm going to go with Owens and Reigns, and I think Owens aligns himself with the authority to screw Reigns out of it.
Stay out of my playbook.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, dude, you're all over my notebook here, dude. Man, I think my freaking computer must be bugged and they're webcamming my notepad sitting here or something. I don't know.
I don't know, but no, I actually wrote stuff down in a notebook, so therefore it can't be necessarily bugged. There'd have to be a webcam or something aimed on the notebook.
That's what I'm saying. My notebook is sitting right here in front of my computer. I have a notebook in hand, and unfortunately the webcam's pointed right at me.
Because I don't know if y'all can hear this or not, but that's actually my notebook.
Yeah. Here's one for you.
Yeah.
Well,
stay out of my notebook. Yeah, I'm actually going in the same direction on that one. So, logistically, and the only question that I have on the whole scenario is, would it be too much of a risk to put the world title on Kevin Owens this early? Yes or no? Cos?
My opinion, yes, it's too early, but does he have the talent to go there? And yeah, absolutely. He should be WWE champion at some point. It's a little early, but he's paid his dues.
Shane?
If they had booked him the way they originally booked him with the John Cena angle and kept that momentum strong, I don't think it would be too soon, because at this point he would just seem like the man. But I could see Owens right now, and I think they know he's probably a good transitional champion to the Rumble or to Mania, and give him a little run and see how he could do for something down the road.
See, that's the funny part about it, because I still sit back and I say this all these years down the road, because when I first heard the term transitional champion, I immediately came back with one thing. That means he's still a world champion. You can never take that away from him. I don't care. I don't care if it's a one-night run by Kane, a 6-day run by Tommy Rich, or a 7-year run by Bruno freaking Sammartino. Dusty Rhodes, one of the greatest transitional champions of all time. Take that one for what it's worth. But you can be a transitional champion all day long, but guess what? At the end of the day, you're still a world champion. So, hey, I'll take it. I
agree with you. I just think it's a way to give Owens some more credibility, because Roman Reigns doesn't need the belt to be in the main event picture. But I also feel like this could be their last big chance to make Dean Ambrose a main event star.
But see, the thing about it is, in most people's eyes, he is already a main event star. They're just not booking him properly. And there's that word again that we can all appreciate, improper booking.
Oh, Lord.
But we'll tell you what, we're at the bottom of the hour. Let's go ahead and take it on in. I will go ahead and say, Robert Cosper, if you got him, throw him out there. Shameless plugs.
Dude, I'll plug GCW tonight in Pell City. It should be a good show. Some lambs being led to slaughter over there, though. Wow. But and I do hope that Stormy pulls it out over Pandora for the GCW ladies title, so we can finally have a lady as the ladies champion.
Shane Noles, shameless plugs.
Well, I've got a birthday bowling party at 4 o'clock this evening. Should be done by 6. If I can convince the crew, we should ride up over to GCW. It's been about 3 years since I checked out a show, and it looks like tonight's 7th annual, is that correct? Legends Fest is a good one to check out. Useless Trivia will be Monday at Local Next in Jacksonville, Alabama, as well as Wednesday at the Mellow Mushroom in Oxford. Yes, it is Thanksgiving week. You're out of school. You're probably off work a little early. Come out and have some fun with us.
Quick rundown, of course, don't forget, like I said, GCW tonight, Pell City, Alabama. Greatly looking forward to it. The 7th annual Fan Fest. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight in Pell City. Tickets are only $10 each. From there, thank you to everybody who came out last night. The Buffalo Wild Wings in Alabaster had a great time on Friday night karaoke. And yes, I'm getting picked on about the new posters. Found a new way to start doing my posters, and I'm really kind of liking it too. I'll cheat. I'll just simply say postermywall.com, and I took some of the templates from there. That's what they're there for. It's not cheating. It's taking advantage of the opportunity. There you go.
It's utilizing.
There you go. Beyond Ringside. Let's see. Let's start with tomorrow, the 22nd. Beyond Ringside Live, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 Central, 3:30 Pacific time. Will be a 90-minute episode before Survivor Series. Selection rounds in play. Were there any other matches that were signed for Survivor Series tomorrow that I might have been missing? I thought I had everything lined up on my side. Oh, forgot about it. I apologize. Dolph Ziggler, Tyler Breeze, Kaz.
You're going to go with Tyler Breeze. Dolph's getting one run in him for some reason. I don't know who he's made mad again. I guess his little obsession with whatever it is with the Cena's Bella is coming back to bite him again.
That'll kill it. Yeah.
I'm just saying. You know, Dolph, it's like Dolph gets a push and all of a sudden, time to take it away.
Pretty much. Shane, your thoughts?
I'm going to go with Dolph Ziggler because he will be repping a new outfit courtesy of Global WrestleWear. There you go, Rick Michaels, your shameless plug for the evening.
You got a website on him?
GlobalWrestleWear.com, also at Global WrestleWear on Twitter. Be tailors to the stars.
Ask Rick.
He can't do you a dress-up outfit for your private life.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Ask Rick how much he would charge me to put together the mask and cape of Captain Chaos from Cannonball Run?
That is a good question. Yeah, see what we can come up with on that.
Oh, I got both of y'all on that one. I'm good.
Yeah, I know.
Tell you what, I will do that, and I will have an answer on next week's program.
Cool.
I'm looking forward to it. The key to pro wrestling. Next week, baby. Next week.
And by the way, speaking of next week, remember Saturday night, the 28th, Peach State Wrestling Alliance back in Carrollton, Thanksgiving Turmoil. Also, I want to go ahead and let, this coming to, let me go and do this. Sorry. Tomorrow night during Survivor Series, we will have a special 3-episode mini marathon of the Midnight Black Mass, including the brand new edition, which I'm getting a little bit later today. Going to plug it in tomorrow. First run at 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. From there, we are going to probably be running a post show after, and I think it's going to be hosted by Wrestle Rage Radio. We're going to work all the logistics out on that this afternoon in text messaging. Back to Basics returns this coming Tuesday night. I'll be joined by a very special guest, Josh Wheeler from Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment. They have got one coming down the road, and we're definitely looking forward to that one also. Thank you to everybody who came out to House Party 5 for them. Definitely a lot of fun. From that vantage point, the To Be Determined show, Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central, 7 Pacific time. Keep your eyes open on BeyondRingside.com. And for me personally, it's Fast Eddie Layne, LAYNE.com. For all of us here on the Shooters Gallery, we hope everybody has a great weekend. Some of us say Roll Tide. Some of us say War Eagle. All of us say get the hell out and have some fun. It's the weekend, and that's what it's made for. Have a great Thanksgiving, even though I'll talk to you before that. On behalf of all of us here, have a great Thanksgiving holiday, and we'll be back on tomorrow for the for BR Live. For the wild card, Robert Cosper.
Over and out. Maybe I'll be here next week. Maybe I won't.
For Shane Noles.
Enjoy your Thanksgiving with family, friends, and loved ones. If you can't, crash somebody else's party.
Amen. I am the Magic City Motor Mouth Fast Eddie Layne saying until next time, adios, das vidania, hasta luego, auf Wiedersehen, ciao, sayonara, adieu, arrivederci, farewell, abasina, au revoir. And until we meet again, aloha means bye-bye. Thank you for joining us right here on the Shooters Gallery, and we'll see you next time as we all go Beyond Ringside. Bye-bye.